All right, we're live. We are live now with Andy. I love how we get straight into this. Like, there's some weird motherfuckers on the internet, and you're not lying about that. Bro, yeah, there's just so much shit out there, like negativity in the social media world, that when you do that, it's like you're just opening up so much negativity into your life when you yeah, it just is what it is. Brother, it's great to finally this is the first time we've actually spoken, like, face to face, I guess you could say. So I've been watching you for a long time, dude, and one thing I've always respected about you, it wasn't. So that's how we're starting this. That's how we're gonna. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and pull them out. But would you just let me suck your dick real quick, please? Would you let me just do my praise thing real quick, like most good podcast hosts are supposed to do? But the thing that I respect most about you is that you're a very successful entrepreneur and businessman. You've got multiple companies that you run, and you also, as of late, or maybe not as late, but you speak out now. Like, you're very vocal with your opinions, and it was because before it was fitness, it was motivation, it was a lot of just very good, in-your-face, raw, emotional, straight to the fucking truth. But now you've entered into the realm, and I don't want to say fully political, but you're. Oh, you can't hear Andy? Hold on, let me see what's up. Are we not? Can we not hear Andy?
Is he muted?
Are you? I don't think he's muted.
Can you hear him?
Hold on, let me check this real quick. Okay, I know why. There we go. We should be good now. That's my bad. There we go. I think we fixed it. That was my fuck up. My fuck up. But okay, so we're just gonna start all over again. Damn it! And yeah, for those that like didn't hear it, like Andy said, I was a very good looking man. I regret not being able to have that in the podcast. Shit. So, and I was saying before that, I followed you for a while, and for those that don't know Andy Frisella, a lot of people should, is that you're CEO of First Form. You run multiple companies, and you do a lot of hard-hitting truths, straight to the quick, like very truthful, honest, motivational, fitness-based. But then, like I was saying, as of late, you are pushing into the realm of being openly vocal about what's going on with current events. You still can't hear it? God damn it! What the fuck? Still can't hear it. Is it me? Hold on, let me see something here. Speak for me, Andy. Okay, it's got to be me. Hold on. I know what it is. I know it's the headphones. All right, talk for me now.
Yeah, I got you.
There he is. Okay, that's my fuck up. There we go. Okay, we're gonna start this over. We're good now. That's why we do pre-show checks, because I am like technically inept, and normally I have Josh do this. So when it's on me,
I got
like,
my team. You can't see me. My team's right here. Dude, I literally can't run a Skype.
Yeah, so, okay. Oh, my God. Worst podcast intro in the history of intros, but I'll go back and edit the fuck out of this, but whatever. Okay, so, again, for those that don't know who Andy Frisella is.
So handsome.
Third time he said this. He's called me so handsome. So, Andy he's CEO of First Form. He runs multiple businesses, multiple companies. I'm getting the thumbs up that we're good now. And like I said, as the past, you're very motivational. You're fitness-based. You're raw. You're real. But then as of late, like I said before, you're going into the political spectrum and you're voicing your opinion. And in this day of cancel culture, in this age of you vocalize one thing that counters mainstream media, mainstream opinion, you're canceled. Like, you're out. What started you on this path that you're on now, that you're actually in your face saying, look, this shit's real, pay the fuck attention?
Well, first of all, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I got started in social media basically just doing motivational type posts. And, I started the podcast, the MFCEO project. It was success based. It was the whole basis of the show was to bring the tools to young entrepreneurs, young meaning, you're just starting your journey, not your physical age, to teach them how to win. And, we went through and we did that for 5 or 6 years. It was highly successful. And when in 2019, when things started getting real weird, I started to recognize this. And I knew we were going into an election year. I knew that we were going into a year of what was going to be total chaos. I didn't know that it was going to be as bad as it got. But I decided to reformat the show into what's called now Real AF. And basically, I felt a little pigeonholed in my format previously that I couldn't talk about the things going on in the world. And when I did, because everybody was there to learn how to make money and be successful, they would get pissed off. And finally, I got tired of feeling like I couldn't talk. And I said, well, fuck this. I'm redoing the show. And if you don't like it, you go listen to someone else.
Yeah.
And that was why I switched. And the reason I switched over to do that, brother, is because I feel a real obligation as an American. I didn't serve. I wasn't in armed forces. I started in business when I was 19. So I started looking at how can I contribute? How can I help people? What can I do and that was really what I could do, is to use my voice to help bring awareness to some of the bullshit that's going on. And, at first, I got a lot of people. I mean, as you do, I get people that come at me all the time, but at the end of the day, without freedom, without America, and without what this country's about, none of this other shit matters, and it's not going to be there. So for me, it came down to realizing that, hey, country and freedom has to come first above everything. And if that cost me a little business, I'm cool with that. If it cost me a lot of business, I'm cool with that.
Do you remember the specific moment? Because I mean, you're very aware of yourself. Most people that are successful, most people that are into the motivational field have a very high level of self-awareness, which makes for great content. Do you remember at what point, what pivotal moment that you decided to take this path, this journey that you're on now? Because I know in your mind you had to think like, this could potentially jeopardize my business. This could potentially bring a lot of blowback. Do you remember the exact moment you're like, you know what, fuck this. Let's do this.
Well, I have that moment almost every day, bro, to be honest. Yeah. So like you, just like when, on the pre-show, and I looked at my phone and I'm like, holy shit, there's some weird people out there. Like, so my day, when I wake up, dude, I try to think of like, all right, how are we going to win today? How am I going to bring some positivity? And what happens is I see some shit and then I'm like, well, fuck this. And then it happens on an everyday basis. So, but, to answer your question, man, I don't know that it was a moment, exact moment, but I think what it was just wearing. It was wearing on me. And I kept, for the last year of the MFCEO project, I kept wanting to talk more and more and more about what was going on in the world. And the more I talked about it, the more bullshit I got back. So I'm like, you know what? This is my show. It's my platform. It's my life. And I'm going to talk about what I want. And once I came out and stood for that and said that, almost all the hate went away, bro. Like,
really?
When people know, this is what I've learned. When you don't apologize for what you believe and you are comfortable discussing it no matter what, because dude, you know me, we've known each other online for years. There's a lot of things that we talk about. We don't necessarily see the exact same way, but I'm comfortable having a conversation, and so are you. So when you're comfortable having a conversation, which I am, it's very easy to stand where I want to stand. And then what happens is when people see that, they leave you alone, because what they're really trying to do is they're trying to bully you. They're trying to get you to, do what they want. They want you to apologize, or they want you to pander, or they want you to back up. And if you don't do that, what happens is they learn that really quick, and then they go somewhere else to where they can get the result they want. So the stronger that you stand, the less you get fucked with, is what I found.
100%. Well, I mean, it can go either way, quite honestly, that when you open your mouth and you start that, people are going to come after you. So what you basically just said, I 100% agree with. The biggest thing, like for anybody listening that is afraid to speak out, that's afraid to make their opinion heard for fear of what their friends and family might think, like the biggest thing you can do to give them a solid victory is to shut the fuck up. Like if you're silent, that's what they want. They want you to be quiet. They don't want you speaking out. They don't want you vocalizing your opinions. And so when you started doing this, I was like, I wish other motherfuckers with the following size, with the reach that you've got, would take note and say, look, like if this dude's doing it, why the fuck can't I? Like what if you really think about it, they can't cancel us unless you let them. There are so many platforms you can go to. You can take you're doing it the smart way. You're pulling off of social media. You're trying to develop your own shit to where it's like, fuck you. You're not going to silence me, because now I didn't really want to get political, but it's unavoidable at this point. Now When I go on YouTube and I'm doing like a live stream like I'm doing now, and I'm even discussing COVID and just quoting what Fauci has said, what the CDC has said, what the WHO has said, they'll pull the stream. And then I got a strike on my account because they accused me of medical misinformation. I was literally just weighing in opinions. And I never said, hey, I'm a doctor, I'm a professional. I'm saying, look, this is my opinion. These are my thoughts. And they pulled it. And so they want to silence you. They want to squash all dissent. And then when you get louder, bro, that's the exact opposite of what they want. That's why all these Hollywood A-list celebrities are fucking scared. They don't like the people rising up. They don't like them making their voices heard. God forbid you have an original thought and you want to express it that goes counter to MSM. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, you know?
Yeah, dude, look, man, it's like a paradox almost, because a lot of the business guys, here's what's going on. They're afraid that they're going to lose a customer, okay?
Yeah.
And like, dude, I get that, all right? Mm-hmm. Like, dude, I've worked my whole life, man. Nobody gave me shit, okay? We grounded out over two decades now, okay? It was hard as fuck. And I can totally understand someone saying, man, I don't want to say this because I might go backwards a little bit. But here's the problem. This has become such an important aspect, in my opinion. The most important time in history of humanity is what I think we're in right now.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm hyper vigilant and maybe I'm freaking out. I don't know, but that's how I feel. That's what my gut tells me. It's what my heart tells me. And that's what my brain tells me. And these people are misjudging the actual temperature of what's happening on the ground. Mm-hmm. And so I observe this. A lot of my peers in the entrepreneur space, I look at them and I see, you know, they haven't said anything and they've kind of avoided it. And here's what's happening, bro. And here's what they don't understand. Because they're misreading the temperature on the ground, they're making decisions that are strategically poor for their brand anyway, which is they're diminishing their own brand with people. Because as the people who are on the ground are watching and they're seeing all this crazy shit happen in America, and then they see their favorite entrepreneur guru not say a word, how I read that is that guy only cares about himself and he doesn't care about anything else. And so
the almighty dollar.
Yeah, bro. And I think these people are severely diminishing themselves and their brands by being quiet. And I don't think they understand that's actually happening yet. But I can tell you, if you are one of those people who is concerned about that, and dude, I'm not judging anybody for being concerned about that. I understand that. But I would like to say this. Without freedom, dude, we don't have a chance to do shit, okay? And we have to all come to terms with that. And we have to all come to terms that certain things matter before a dollar. Certain things matter before, your personal success. And certain things have to be in place for personal success to happen. And so for anybody out there listening that's afraid to speak up, I would consider the fact that maybe you're diminishing your brand by not speaking up. And to think about that, because if that's what you're worried about, I think you're making a wrong decision right now.
People see that. Like we have mutual friends that I know, that we both know personally, and I'm waiting. Like, I'm watching them, and I don't call them out by name because essentially I don't want to put them in that spotlight. I think that would be very disingenuous of me. But I've been dropping like breadcrumbs from people. It's like, look, what the fuck are you waiting for? Like, if there was ever a time to speak out, it's now. It's when freedom has actually been jeopardized. And it's a bold statement to make. Our freedom is more in jeopardy now than it was on 9/11. And people don't like hearing that because it's like, well, wait a minute. You're comparing, a stark contrast between violence and what's going on now, which is kind of essentially nonviolence. But you look at what's going on at the hands of the government in regards to these tyrannical and I can't stand when they call them laws. And this is another thing, like, people don't understand how government works. But these are not laws. These lockdowns are not laws. These are executive orders that never went through any type of legislation. It was just issued. And when people have so much power to do that, you look at Australia right now. They have legit fucking camps over there. And it's so aggravating that these people that I know that present themselves as like freedom, guns, pew pew, America, and I'm sitting here and I've been fighting this war for 5 fucking years, 6 years, since 2015. I was doing this shit when I was still in the army, and I was warning people. I was like, bro, we have become so politically correct under Obama that the alpha meat eater war fighter is dying, and now he's dead, bro. He's fucking dead. The military is the weakest I've ever seen it. We are recruiting straight fucking trash off the street. We have become such a pandering nation that it honestly has become so concerning to me that it's like national security now. Do we have a generation that is able to step up and go to the mantle and actually fight back if another major war escalated. Like, for example, like if the Taliban, if what like Lindsey Graham and those war hawks are saying, if they do want to do a reinvasion of Afghanistan, people don't understand the difference of what it was originally to what it is now. Now we've armed them to the teeth. Do I think this generation of warriors can handle a fight like that? And I have to say, honestly, no. I don't. But it goes back to what I was saying is like, I'm waiting for these other people with these large followings that have been dropping breadcrumbs. Like, fucking say something. Say something. Lockdowns, businesses going under, people fucking out of job, out of work, and the government's getting more on the government tit. And that's exactly what they want, because now they have more power to wield over you. Yeah. And we were originally thought of as conspiracy theorists. It's like, no, this shit is real. It's happening. And it's only going to continue. And I'll say this and I'll let you go. The only thing that's stopping America from becoming Australia is the Second Amendment. Because I know, and people don't realize this, it's a fucking powder keg. And all it takes is that one shot and it'll fucking ignite. Like we saw that Portland, Oregon now is talking about banning trade and travel from Texas because of the heartbeat bill. It's like, I don't think people realize that is a step towards civil war. When you have states divided and it goes into the economic forum, that's when war is going to occur. And I don't want to see it. But it's like, we are going down a fast track to hell if we don't fucking pump the brakes and people start speaking out, because you've said it before in your podcast. I don't usually listen to podcasts, but yours I listen to on occasion. And you said the same thing. We are the fucking majority, and people and the MSM does not want you to see that.
No. So that's a key. I can't really speak to who's coming in the military. I'll say this though, bro.
You don't have to take the heat for that. We got a bunch of bitches in the military now doing their fucking cringe TikToks. Like,
as Americans, our culture, we rise to the occasion, and in business, there's been a lot of young, like, dude, I have a business full of 25-year-old people out here that whoop ass. And the reason they whoop ass is because they've risen to what they've been asked to do. And I still believe that we have that as Americans. Am I like excited about what's going on right now? No, but I think we have enough men to handle the situation. But I will say this, what you said about so they have this is an important point that you touched on that I want to expand upon. We have to understand they control all the media, they control all the technology, they control all the social media. They have the ability to censor, they have the ability to deplatform, they have the ability to do all of these things. The polls that they put on TV, those polls can be manipulated in any way they want. So what we have here is we have this small group of people that are in charge of the technology who have painted this picture with propaganda, with media, with censorship, that people that love America, patriots, people who they're not these extremist people. We're just people that want to be left the fuck alone. You know what I'm saying? And we want to provide for the people in our community, and we want to pursue happiness, and we want to take advantage of the amazing opportunities that America has, and we want to help our neighbors do the same. That's all we want. And so, dude, they have taken that group of people and made them feel like every single one of them is alone. Every time I talk to somebody, bro, who's cut from the same cloth as you or me or any of these other people that's watching right now, every time I talk to them, they say this. They say, dude, I agree with you, Andy, but like, dude, I'm the only one in my office. I said, no, you're not. You are not the only one in your office. Go talk to everybody else in your office and see how they feel about this. And what happens is they come back and they're like, fuck, dude, you were right. They all agree, but nobody wants to say anything
because they're afraid.
Dude, this is a very specific play out of the communist playbook, which is what they want. They want to isolate and they want to eliminate through shame and fear, okay? And we, like you said it earlier in the show, us being quiet, us shutting up, that is the equivalent of us selling America down the fucking river. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not willing to do that for any amount of money. It's not going to happen. So we have to get back to remembering who the fuck we are as America and stop letting these clowns make us feel like we're alone. Dude, when you go watch Trump speak, no matter what you think about Trump, I don't give a fuck. Look at Trump. The guy has 100,000 people show up. Biden drives down the street and people are throwing fucking fruit at him. Like, like the Middle Ages, bro. Like, this shit is wrong. And we all know it's wrong. And we all know who the majority is. And if you guys would just stand the fuck up a little bit, this shit could be over quick.
You're 100% right. Like it feels like we have McCarthyism all over again, like the big Red Scare back in the early 20th century, to where it's like, oh my God, what you said is 100% correct, that they want you isolated and they want to make you feel alone. They want to make you feel like you're the minority. And the biggest thing is they want to make you feel like you're the extremist, like you're the terrorist. Because right now, never in my life would I ever sit here and think or hear. I've heard some crazy shit online. I get a lot of shit thrown at me, and half of it's probably warranted because I'm a big fucking mouth guy. But at the same token, I have never had someone associate me or liken me are making me akin to the Taliban. And they're doing that now. Democrats are doing this. Yeah. And you want to talk about inflammatory rhetoric. And I'm not saying the right is justified. The right can be just as bad as the left in certain circumstances and cases. But when you're sitting there, like you have Ron Perlman, Hellboy himself, making these tweets saying, fuck the GOP, you're just like ISIS. Is like, do you understand what you're saying? Do you really think about what you're saying? Because what you're essentially doing is you're saying any conservative that's a combat veteran that fought against the Taliban and ISIS, that lost brothers and sisters, you're saying you're the same as them now because of a heartbeat? But like, this is so exaggerated. And it's blown my mind. But you're 100% right that there are more people that agree with you than you realize, because McCarthyism, it's like, don't say anything. It could risk your job. It could risk this. Yes. And the biggest thing that pisses me off, and I understand why there's pushback, but like in the military right now, they're trying to force the jab on service members. And I'm like, no, that should not be allowed, because number one, you didn't enlist with that in your contract. This is an experimental thing. And I get a lot of dudes in the military like, hey, John, what should I do? It's like, you know what the fuck to do. Like, what do you need me to say? Either you stand up for what you fucking believe in and you take the hits that come with it, because people don't remember that. They seem to think that we are in the age of social media slacktivism. I'm going to dump some ice water on my head. I'm going to do 22 fucking push-ups, and that's it. There's no blowback. There's no pushback. But then suddenly it comes, like, my nipples are so hard right now. I'm so fucking motivated. Like, bro, it comes with, you're going to get hit. When you stand up for what you fucking believe in, you are going to get hit. You are going to suffer. And it's just like, if you look like at Christ, and I'm not trying to get religious, you look at the sufferings of Christ and what he endured. You look at the sufferings of famous historical people that went out there and they went against the fucking grain. They went against what people were saying. It's like, no, this isn't right. All these people, they suffered. So yes, don't sit there and think that you standing up in the military is like, hey, sir, Captain, I'm not getting the jab, and you're going to get discharged. Possibly, but it ain't the end of the world. But at least you'll get discharged with that DD-214, knowing you fucking stood for what was right, and you didn't bend the knee. Now, if you choose to get the vaccine, I'm not against that. But I'm like you said, leave me the fuck alone. Let me have my freedom to choose.
Dude, I 1,000,000% agree with you, bro. Like, if someone wants to get it, get it. If you don't, don't. If you want to wear a mask, wear a fucking mask. If you don't. If you're that scared of the shit, stay the fuck home. That's it, dude. It should have been handled that way from the beginning. Dude, 80% of the people that die from this shit are obese, period. That's a fucking fact.
You can't say that, because then you're fat. I seem to remember a dude back in 2015 that said, stop being fucking fat. And everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of motherfuckers like, oh, you're fat shaming. And this is a message to the people that are obese. Where are they now? Like, where the fuck are these fat glorification, obesity glorification types? Like, I read an article the other day, had a 16-year-old girl who was obese dying from COVID, tubes crammed down her throat. And it's like, where are these fucking obesity glorification people? Are they at your bedside? Are they holding your hand? Are they saying, oh, what a good person you were, as you lay dying because you wouldn't stop stuffing fat pills down your throat? And then I get looked at as like, I'm the fucking bad guy? Because we live in an age where you can't say the truth anymore, and that needs to change. It needs to change back into the old days of like, look, this is the truth, and whether you like it or not, science is science, facts are facts, and all you weak-minded motherfuckers, if you want to go be weak with the fucking losers. Like, go be over there with them. I don't want anything to do with them. They're fucking losers. They're so afraid to get outside of their bubble. Oh, don't say anything mean. You might hurt their feelings. You need your feelings hurt. Like, that's how you build emotional calluses.
Bro.
Yeah. Like, that's a picture. For those that are not looking, he's showing a picture of back in 2015. How big were you then?
I was 350 fucking pounds, okay?
Whew.
We've been on lockdown for 500 and something days, all right? I don't care how out of shape you are, how unhealthy you are. You could make a major impact on your health in 500 days. I don't care if you're 700 pounds. So if you're going to yell at people about health, if you're going to yell at people about stay the fuck home, if you're going to yell at people about a vaccine, let me see what you did over the last 500 fucking days. Because I'm going to tell you what I did. I missed 7 days. 7. All right? So don't talk to me about health. I work on my health every single day. Dude, that thing that you're talking about, the glorification of obesity, that was pre-programmed, in my opinion, to create a bigger result for this event. I believe this event has been planned for years and years and years. I believe that they brought this ideology into America 25 years ago when they started removing the Pledge of Allegiance from the classroom. Mm-hmm. And I believe that bringing in this, this acceptance culture of being a total lazy, fucking unhealthy person, yep. Is part of what they want, because they want people to be more dependent, just like you said. Like, dude, yep. Everybody's seeing this for the surface level, and not everybody's seeing this for what's actually happening, which is what's actually happening is they're destroying the jobs, they're destroying the will, they're destroying the will for self-reliance and personal responsibility. Yep. This has been going on for 20 years, bro. This is why I started the MFCEO project. I started the MFCEO project because I recognized that these kids were being handicapped in their fucking schools by their teachers, yep. who don't know shit about the real world. And so I started doing the podcast because I'm like, fuck, somebody's got to tell these guys. Like, and I happen to have been through that journey. So I started talking about it. And, I write children's books, dude, to help parents teach.
You do it all. Like, you do it all.
Bro, but it all has to do, all of these things have to do with the ideology of America being ripped out of our culture. Mm-hmm. So it's entrepreneurship is literally the backbone of our entire fucking American culture. Mm-hmm. So by the way, entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that fix this too. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that put the signs on their doors and say, hey, we don't discriminate. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that don't force the medicine on people. Entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that stand for freedom inside their company and anti-discrimination. So like the entrepreneurs of the world are very important right now. And it's important that you guys out there who are listening that have businesses or know people that have businesses start to remind people like, hey, we don't discriminate. We stand for freedom. Mm-hmm. We stand for this, and stop being bullied internally by the 1 or 2 or 3 far leftist employees you have that are raising a stink. Like, dude, that's what's happening inside a lot of these businesses right now. A lot of these businesses have these really far left activist type people who then bully the HR department into making rules that most people don't agree with. Hey, let me tell you something. If you got people in your office that are causing that shit for you, it's real fucking simple. Fire them. It's that simple. Okay. Stop being held hostage by the small minority. Mm-hmm. And dude, that's just who I am, bro. Like, I'm not gonna bend my fucking back over because someone doesn't like my opinion of pro-America, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, we're talking about the purest shit of this entire country. We're talking about the things that make it great. We're talking about not seeing, the differences between races and getting along as one people. We're talking about, respecting people's personal freedoms. All of these things are on the table right now, mm-hmm. and people still think this is about a fucking virus. It's not. The virus is the tool. And so, I don't know, man. It's frustrating, but here's what I will say. I feel like on the ground level, I feel it simmering, dude. Like, I feel the patriotism of this country starting to, like, the people are getting irritated and they're starting to get active, and I'm seeing it in my DMs. Like, I've been pushing really hard for people to go to the school, because what really happened, John, is, bro, we had it so good in America for so long that we all took our fucking eye off the ball. Yep. You know what I'm saying? We all said, okay, you're going to run your business. I'm going to run my business. I'm going to do we're going to go do these things, and somebody else will take care of all this. Well, guess what, guys? Nobody else took care of that. So we have to get re-involved, and we have to remember that we have civic responsibilities outside of just being personally successful. If you're a parent, you have a civic responsibility to go to school meetings. If you live in a town, you should get interested in what's going on. Now, I'm not saying you have to run for office, but make your voice heard. Be an American, dude. America's values only survive to the level that we're willing to publicly acknowledge them. You know what I mean? Like, the silent majority shit that, like, the people like to say, oh, we're the silent majority. Yeah, that's why we're fucking here, because of the silent part, So, brother, I'm with you, man. Like, I just hope that people listening right now can find the confidence to stand up. And, dude, by the way, if you disagree with everything I'm saying, stand up for that, okay? Like, I'm cool. but we as Americans, as a culture, have to become okay again with expressing our actual truth of what we see, and then be okay having a discussion. Like, dude, when I say things, sometimes I say things, and DJ, who's sitting right here, says, "Yeah, I don't know about that," and I'm like, it's not like I'm like, "Hey, well, fuck you, you're fired, bro." Like, I'm like, well, why do you think that? And we have this, like, adult discussion, kind of like you and I do when we have discussions. Like,
I think a lot of that, though, comes from what MS. So to basically encompass everything you just said, I think the main reason why we're in the condition we're in right now is because essentially the press has given it. I think the press right now is the number one enemy of America. I think the press on both sides, they have kept us against each other for so long now, to the point where we've never seen supposed racism as bad in this country as it is now. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, if you would just take a second, if people would just take one moment, because social media, and this is what people don't understand, social media will put a magnifying glass on a very tiny isolated incident. Now, it's not saying that incident is not something that shouldn't be taken seriously, but to sit there and say that we have an extremist problem in America, we have a white nationalist problem, we have a racism problem. If you for 1 second would just put the fucking phone down and go walk your ass outside, and you'll see a black guy, a Hispanic woman, or whatever, and everybody's cool. The press wants to create this fabricated enemy in our head of one another. So the more they keep us pitted against each other, it's like the man behind the curtain or the puppeteer pulling the strings, and people are going to buy into this. Now, it's not to say that we shouldn't combat poisonous ideologies, and we should 100%. Say, for example, socialism, which leads into communism, things like that, the American dream being challenged. But as long as they keep us fighting over these feeble crumbs, no wonder we're in the position right now. No wonder we've just bent over and let the government fucking raw dog us. And this is what finally people are starting to wake up to, because as much as I hate it, I was talking to Crenshaw about this the other day. I was like, the political spectrum, you're the new Kardashians, but it's also y'all's fault. Y'all have created this on social media to where you're battling with each other. And I get off on it sometimes. Like, I won't lie. Like, I see this stuff. It's like, oh, fuck, he just got wrecked. But then you sit there and you think about, like, yeah, but whose mind did you change? So when you can have the discussion with your boy there, that's what we should be having. Yeah. We should be having these discussions. That's why I love bringing on people when I was doing drunken debates. Like, hey, I want socialists. I want communists. I want transgenders. I want these people, because I think we find more times than not, we're actually in agreement with like 80% of what each other says. Yeah. We just have different avenues of getting there. So I get why there is diversity there, diversity of thought, but diversity of thought is a good thing. It should be had. It should be embraced. We will not agree on everything, and that's perfectly accepted. That's how it should be. Patton said it best. If everybody in the room is thinking the same, then somebody ain't fucking thinking. And it's good to have that diversity. But now, dude, I have never seen so many Americans. You want to talk about what has just been the most disappointing thing I've ever seen in my entire life? We have a nation of 350 million motherfuckers. Never, Andy, I'm telling you, never would I have ever thought I would see so many people take their freedom and crumple it up and throw it the fuck away for the sake of safety. Yeah. And it has blown my mind how many Americans are American in name only. They will not stand up for individual liberty and freedom. And like all these people, they went out there, they love their sunshine patriots, like Thomas Paine said, summertime soldiers. When shit's going smooth, when your safety's not in jeopardy, and you're getting you're just reaping all the benefits of freedom that our forefathers have died from. Dude, we're the descendants of fucking revolutionaries. Yes. We toppled the British fucking Empire. Like, how fucking ballsy should we be that people say, oh, you're extremist, that's un-American. Bullshit, that is American. That sit there and say, fuck you, like tax without representation, suck a dick, eat my musket. So it's like, to sit there and say that we're the extremists, like, it's almost like you take it with a badge of honor. You're the Texas Taliban. It's like, so you're telling me that I'm now an extremist because my thoughts differ from the majority of the people out there that are honestly just too fucking afraid. Like, you had no problem with me going overseas to defend your freedom, and I say freedom because we can have a good discussion on that. Yeah, you had no problem sending my fucking fat white ass over there to die, and you'll sit there and you'll suck the dick of every veteran come Memorial Day, and veterans like, oh, thank you for your service, not on my face, it's wonderful. But then when it comes to you stepping up and putting in your fucking work to defend freedom, boy, you take a knee so goddamn quick. Wait, I could possibly. Oh, no. I'm in jeopardy now? You mean I have to sacrifice? Oh, no, I can't do that. It's like, you don't even fucking deserve freedom at this point. Like, I wish if I was in charge, I'm like, here, sign this piece of paper. If you want guaranteed safety, we will send you to a state, probably California, because fuck those nerds, We'll send you to California, and we'll put all the safe people over there. But once you fucking relinquish that freedom, you ain't getting it back. So whatever the government does to you over there, they want to fucking come in. They want to take your guns. They want to do all this shit. Bro, fuck you. You're on your own. And then once they all move to California, put explosives on the San Andreas fault line and blow that motherfucker and let it float to fucking Russia, because that's where you belong. So these people out there that are Americans in name only, I got no sympathy for you. Like, I really don't fucking like you. We ain't the same, bro. We're not the same. So you got people that actually want to stand for liberty and freedom and what's right, and you got other people that just want to bend over and take the government dick. And it's like, fuck no. Why the fuck would I ever want to be like that? Be a man, be a woman, or whatever other made up gender you want to be out there.
Yeah, dude, I think, first of all, I think that, what we really got going. So I like to think of it, I like to break shit down strategically. Like, why is this actually happening? Mm-hmm. And what I've observed, bro, because I've, we've both been on this shit since day one. Is that, in the beginning, bro, they really scared the fuck out of people.
Oh, they did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, and dude, being real, like, they're showing videos on TV over in China of people literally walking down the street and falling over dead. And like,
do you remember what was going on in China when the virus hit? Do you remember? A lot of people don't. They were on the verge of a revolution. The Chinese were, that got fucking silent. China was in the process of a revolution. The people were protesting. They were screaming for Trump support. They wanted a Second Amendment. The Chinese people were rising up, and then boom, COVID hit. Done.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that, but that even makes more sense.
Yep.
So, we have, DJ and I, we're both of us are of similar mindset. Mm-hmm. The first day, we're sitting over at our old building. We were over in the old HQ, and we're watching the news, and it's like, we're kind of joking about it. We're like, making Corona beer jokes and shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden on TV, the news comes on, and this is over the course of 3 or 4 days, where they're showing clips of like bodies stacked up in bags and like people falling over in the street. Mm-hmm. And we all looked at each other. We're all smart people here, and we're like, God, holy shit, man. Is this fucking real? Like, holy fuck. And you know what? That day, we had to come down here to do a supervision thing, and we wore a mask that day. That was the first and only time I wore a mask. I wore the mask. I wore it for about 20 minutes. I looked around, and I'm like, nah, this is bullshit. And I threw it away, and that was it. But dude, here's the thing. I have the ability as an entrepreneur and a good entrepreneur to see below the surface pretty quick. And not everybody has that, okay? So we have to remember that a lot of people are super asleep. And I'm not saying that in a conspiracy way. I'm saying it
they're not paying attention.
Way. Right. They're wrapped up in their daily lives. They go to work, they go home, they have their friends, they drink beers, they do all the normal shit, and they don't pay attention. Yeah. And so, the media really went in hard to scare people. And so, dude, I've gotten a lot of people, and I'm not making excuses for people, because at this point in time, listen, I don't care who you voted for. I don't care what dude, at this point in time, on today's date, right now, if you can't recognize what's going on, there's something wrong with your fucking brain, okay? That's a fact. But I get emails, dude, literally daily of people that are saying shit like this. They're like, Andy, dude, I totally believe that this is bullshit. But the problem is I'm like scared to take off my mask. I don't know how to do it. Like, these people are legit scared, bro. And now with this extremist shit, they have the reason they put that domestic terror alert out. There's two reasons. One, they want everybody to shut up. And two, and by the way, that's scary, right? Like they put that on TV, and they if you know anything about the Patriot Act and what they can do to people that they consider terrorists, they can hold you indefinitely. They can spy on you. They can read your cell phone messages. They can listen to your conversations. All of that.
Hold on, I got to delete that midget porn real quick. 1 second.
Yeah, but dude, it's funny because I know they listen to what I say, so I always text like funny shit in there, and I'm like, hey, like. Because if you're gonna fuck with me, at least I want him to like me.
At least the FBI agent on the other side of my phone's like, hey, you know what? Burke's a weird motherfucker, but I get that guy. Like, I get that guy. No, you're 100% right, dude. I mean, if you really think about it, how I was 17 when I enlisted. It was like right before 9/11, and we all, I shouldn't say fell for it. When 9/11 happened, and dude, you want to talk about crazy? I'm 37 years old. Like now we have a generation, the Zoomer generation, that wasn't even alive when 9/11 happened, which is just so, man. You want to talk about like having this out of body experience where you look back and say, dude, you're an old fucker now. But
not only, bro, those are the motherfuckers on TikTok saying all this crazy shit.
Don't even get me started. I'm at my wit's end with some fucking little pimple-faced Gen Z Zoomer with big fucking glasses or some fat blue-haired overweight lesbian that's a goddamn Zoomer telling me about, well, there should be men's tampons because men have periods too. No, you're psychotic and you belong in a fucking insane asylum. This pandering, like, I know that, you know, we're in a different age of enlightenment now. I think that there was a lot of progressivism that actually did a lot of good, to be more inclusive, to not make fun of people that are having disabilities, to not look down on these people, to give them equality. Yes. But we went way too far. Now it's like we are acknowledging and praising psychological disorders that when people want to talk about, like, okay, like, talk about the weaponization of science, the politicization of science. Now, like, gender dysphoria isn't really a thing anymore. They said, like, oh, transgenderism. And again, I'm not against, you do what you want to do with your body. I don't fucking care. I just don't want to pay for it. But don't sit there and tell me that there's not something wrong when your brain and anatomy don't align. And it doesn't make you inherently a bad person. Your actions make you a bad person. But to sit there and then say, like, oh, no, scientifically, this is actually okay. It's normal. Bro, this was politicized. Everything is politicized now. And the science and data are manipulated. Like you said earlier, the shit that you're seeing on CNN and Fox, it is manipulation. And one of the biggest questions I get is, where do you go to get accurate news? Like, fuck me if I know. You have to sit there and wade through the diarrhea to find the fucking turd of truth. Like, you don't know where to go. So you don't believe anything. So that's why individual Americans have to rationalize for themselves and think for themselves and start asking questions instead of just buying into the supposed data, because somebody will say, like, hey, you know, the COVID numbers are this. The COVID's like, dude, I don't know that. Like, are you there? Do you know? Can you prove that? I can't. So why am I supposed to believe this? Because we've already seen Fauci's fucking lied. It just hit the press again. Fauci fucking lied. It's all over the goddamn Rand Paul's coming out. It's like, I fucking told you. I told you. But the groupthink herd mentality are presented with these facts, but we have such an engrossment of identity and politics that when somebody comes at you with a different perspective that goes contrary to what you believe, you instantly feel attacked, and we shouldn't feel that way. It's like, look, put the ego to the side and reserve the right.
Bro, it's ego. Yeah. So that's what we have going on. So we have an ego problem happening right now. Yeah. The ego problem is this. They sold that dangerous shit so hard that a lot of well-intended people truly bought it. And I get it, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I get it. I'm 100%.
I bought it too at first. I did too.
Bro, you're stupid if you didn't, bro. Yeah. Because, like, you know, that's scary shit.
Yeah.
But what's happened now is that they have diluted any evidence, censored any evidence, any difference of thought or opinion or question they have removed, which has created distrust amongst people like you and I and most people, okay? But what also it does is a lot of these people who bought into this shit early, like, holy fuck, they feel stupid now, okay? A lot of those people feel stupid, and they don't feel like it's okay for them to now say, well, this is bullshit. Yeah. Like they have partnered and attached their identity to this thing. Like, I believe this. Fauci's none of these people, like, they have attached their ego to that, bro. And what we need to have happen is people have to step back and say, hey, you know what? I might have misjudged this situation. And dude, more people are doing that. It's happening for sure because dude, I see so many emails in my DMs and emails, and people are like, bro, you know, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Biden, but holy fuck. And it's like, but dude, you know what's cool? It's like, I can respect that. Yeah. I can respect that shit. But what I can't respect is someone who's still tied into this shit, allowing them. Dude, they got fucking camps in Australia, bro. You saw in my story, I posted the picture. If you go and Google Nazi concentration camp and then go look at what they built in Australia, it is literally like probably the same blueprint. Like, it looks exactly the same. It's almost like I feel like we're getting punked. Like, they're like trying to show us the shit. So we're like, and then nobody's even believing it. Like, oh yeah, that's just some bullshit. It's not real. Dude.
It's real.
It's real. And you know, I think about this, like, let's just say we were back in 2019, Okay, let's just eliminate all this shit that happened the last year and a half. And we're in 2019. Trump is president. Australia builds concentration camps and says they're going to put their people in it. The world freaks the fuck out. Every fucking military in the world goes to Australia to liberate them. That's what would have happened. Now we have people who are saying, oh, I don't even think that's real. And then, dude, we have Australians who are bought into this shit, who are emailing back, like, and dude, by the way, it's 500 to 1, okay? 500 people email me from Australia and say, thank you for doing that. Thank you for showing that. And then I get the one asshole who fucking emails me and says, bro, that's perfectly okay, blah, 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 blah. No, it's not okay.
No.
And dude, here's the other thing. It's okay as America to stand against fucking communism, okay? We don't have to accept that. That's not something that falls under the line of tolerance, all right? That is the enemy of humanity. That ideology has killed more people on this fucking planet than fucking anything ever. Any plague, any fucking human, any war. Communism has killed more people, period, than any other thing in the history of the earth. So it is okay for us Americans to stand against that, period. And like,
I agree.
Yeah, we've lost that. You know, I see a lot of people who are, and by the way, I agree with you, bro. I think both of us are pretty moderate in our views, even though people confuse us and think that we're right-wing. Because by the way, everybody who's not on the mainstream narrative is right-wing conspiracy extremists, everybody. So, you know, it is what it is. But here's the thing. We all have, fuck, I don't know, man. I'm
Say it, bro. Say it. Say what's in your mind, bro.
Well, fuck, dude. I got a whole lot. Like,
go for it.
Dude, I'm just saying, dude, you know, this shit, we have to get back to understanding that it's important for Americans to stand for America. Yeah. We don't have to accept all this crazy shit. Yeah. I am 100% okay with the progressivism that you mentioned, where it's inclusive, we don't discriminate, we don't look down on people. Bro, we shouldn't look down on trans people. We shouldn't be discriminating against trans people, but we also shouldn't be making the rules of society around 0.5% of the entire population of America. That's a fact. Where else do they do that? Where else do they make rules around the tiniest percent? Bro, the way it should work is, if you're in the tiniest percent, you have to adapt to the way the real world is, not the real world adapts to your tiny percent. And that's just logic, dude. And that's not being hate speech or discrimination or anything, because I'm not for any of that. Dude, I have a niece. My sister's daughter is trans. Like, I love her, okay? Like, this, but we cannot make the rules of society around those things. It's just not, it doesn't serve the common good, which is what America's about. So
I 100% agree. I think that if like we actually looked at why America's in the condition it's in now, if our government is a reflection of our society based upon how politicians pander to the overwhelming majority, right now we're seeing a transition of thought process from the Gen X, from the boomers to the millennials. Right now, we're seeing the participation, everyone gets a trophy generation now voting. And then voting into people like AOC that think that fair is a four-letter word that can be applied across the board. Life is not fair. No. Like, and that's the thing that really genuinely irks me is that you should always fight for what's right. You should always fight for justice. You should always fight for fairness and equality. But there has to come with the understanding that life is not fair. You are going to get shit on. You are going to have life walk up, pull your pants down, and kick you in the fucking nuts. But what are you going to do about it? You're going to sit there and cry about it, or you're going to adapt and overcome. But that's where people don't want to have that kind of mindset. They don't want to have that type of mentality. It's like, what can I get from the government? And the other thing that people don't realize is, like, the way for the government to take control is by looking at what Democrats have done to, say, for example, the black minority for years now. It was lie upon lie upon lie. Vote for me. I'm going to have your best interest at heart. Yes. What I'm going to do is put more money into government subsidy programs that have, by the way, kept you out of work, kept you on the government tit, and all I'm going to do is keep you not quite poor, but I'm going to give you just enough so that you're treading water with your nose above, you're barely breathing, but create this perception that if the racists take over, you're not going to get this money anymore. But what they don't realize, like, that's probably in their best interest. Go out there into the workforce to where you're not dependent upon the government. You're not dependent upon a politician. You make your own money, because, I mean, I thought that we came from this generation of, like, men that grab their balls, like, I provide, I work, I do what I got to do. This is me. I'm a fucking man. Now it's changed to where we've adopted a more socialistic mindset to where we rely on the government for everything. When the fuck did that become a thing? Like, when the fuck did our society start saying, hey, you know what a good idea is? Let's let the rich elites that are so out of touch with reality, that are not worried where their next burger is coming from, that are going to be just fine with a tax increase, let's let them make decisions for the rest of us. And I understand constitutional republic. I get it. I get democracy. But there comes a time and a point where we need to wake the fuck up. And like you said, stop pandering to the minority percentile that don't want to go out there and do the fucking work. Like right now, bro, like Shell Shock, like we're hiring. It took us almost 3 weeks to find someone that would actually come in just to do a fucking interview. Like Sarah, God bless her, she runs this company. I do the podcast now. Her and Tyler kicking ass. But to find someone, because what they're doing right now is they'll submit a resume, send that back to the fucking welfare office and say, hey, I tried, but they never even came in for the fucking interview. Nobody, and now Greg Abbott pulled it and said, it's done, we're over, go back to work. And that's what happened. That's how the government subverts you and takes control. The more reliant you are upon the government, the more power they have over you. So what you can do is be a self-made man or woman and don't be relying on them. And then you can tell them to go fuck off.
Yeah, dude. And I think people are waking up to that, bro. I think we're seeing a resurgence of that. You know, as far as the black communities, this is something that I think is really, really cool. You know, I think black community has woke up, bro. I think they realize that the Democrats come in and promise all this shit, then turn around, break all this shit, so that they have more shit to promise to fix. And there's and the black communities in the cities who are suffering the most from these crazy policies are now saying, wait a minute, dude, fuck you. And dude, it gives me so much hope. But that's also why they're allowing the borders to stay wide open. That's also why they're bringing all these people from Afghanistan over. Dude, they understand that they will not be able to lie to the black minority vote anymore. The black minority vote has woken up to America, and they've understood that they've been victimized by the people that claim to care for them. And bro, that's an exciting thing. That is exciting, because we're seeing people who have bought into the ideas that we're talking about, you know, that the government's going to come fix their problem, now saying, no, motherfucker, we're strong enough to fix our own fucking problems. And bro, that's what America's about. I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be amazing. DJ and I talk about it all the time. We have a huge black following on our podcast. And bro, it's been so exciting to see black America start to wake up and say, no, fuck this. We're going to go out. We're going to kick ass. We're like, dude, when a Democrat sits there and looks at a black person and says, you know, they shouldn't have to have ID to vote. You know how fucking insulting that is?
Yeah, or like, that they don't have access to it. It's like, are you telling me they're too stupid? Like Biden said, you know, like, I got to explain how to use the internet to the black folk.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, so inherently racist. And people just aren't like you can't recognize that as, dude, that is racist in itself. You're telling me that you think that you're smarter than this person and that they're too dumb to go get an ID?
Just because they're black, yeah.
Yeah, dude. And like, I think 80% of America agrees with that, 90%. Like, dude, we're all tired of this division. We're tired of this identity politics. Dude, I think America's ready to be fucking America again. And I know people are worn out. I know people are tired. I know people are tired of fighting. But, dude, I'm getting excited now. Like, I'm starting to feel it come back to, you know, and, dude, this is the way the world works, right? Pendulum swing. And so that pendulum has swung all the way that other way that I think America's going to allow it to go, and it's starting to come back. And to you sunshine patriots out there, just a little heads up. It's going to get cool to be patriotic again real soon, so might as well jump on now. We could use you.
There was, we could. There was, and it's interesting you say that, because there was a dynamic shift that, like, people like me that were diehard Trump supporters at first, that had their minds woken up to the idea, because it was Austin Peterson, libertarian presidential candidate, that I had a conversation with, that kind of, I hate saying based or red pilled. I'm not cool with that kind of terminology, because I'm just not cool. I'm an old fucker, but whatever. But Austin Peterson woke me up.
You mean common sense?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't use all the cool phrases anymore. I'm too cool for that. But I think there was a lot of great conversations. Oh, stop. Just stop. We're gonna totally hook up after this, right? There was a lot of conversations that actually spawned because of these movements. Take, for example, the BLM. The BLM had some justification as far as those that are tyrants behind a badge. Because at first, everybody was like, support the blue line. Cop lives matter, and I'm not saying they don't. But then it brought about conversation saying, wait a minute, there is police brutality. There are tyrants behind the badge. And then it swung the other way, like all cops are bad. It's like, no. We should be instead saying, do not define the majority by the minority. Don't sit there and say that every cop is bad because one cop does something wrong. And the MSM were fucking magnifying those black shootings left and right. It's like, statistically, this is not happening to the level that Democrats and the MSM is saying it's happening. But people don't want to buy into that because, oh, wait, I've got my victim narrative. I can use this. And then what does the BLM leaders do? Marxist incarnate take these millions of dollars, buy $1 million fucking house in a predominantly white neighborhood. And then you got BLM chapters all over the United States saying, we didn't see a dime of that money. They just took it and ran. Maybe you'll start waking up to these fucking grifters that are on both sides of the aisle. But the point was, these conversations, they needed to happen. And so the patriotism, it's still patriotic to say America's fucked up, but this is why it's fucked up, and this is how we make it better. This is how we fix it. Stop giving the police so much power, because even I was like, oh, fuck, you're right. Like, don't you ever sit there and, like, when people say, are you a Trump supporter? It's like, I'm a constitutional supporter. Yes. So when you ask me a baited question, they're going to say, are you a Trump supporter? Well, then how do you feel about Trump doing this? And you want to talk about catching a Democrat off guard, say, no, I agree with you. I think Trump fucked up there. It's like, wait, what? You mean you're saying that about your God Emperor Trump? It's like, yes, because I'm no longer a loyalist. I'm loyal to the document that gives us freedom, to the God that's allowed that to happen. Yes. So when people wake up to that and start to understand, you don't have to pick a side. You can instead be a critical thinker. Now, majority of which I disagree with liberals because flat out, I think a lot of them are just fucking stupid. And then I disagree with a lot of GOP people that think like church and state should be the same. So there's a lot of conversations that occurred as a result of this, but those conversations aren't going to occur if the MSM keeps us like Turney pointing the rest of them. Bro, it gets great clicks. Oh, we're going to fucking own the libs. It's like, okay, when you can actually have this. It's not productive. When you want to change, like Crenshaw said it best, he said, if you want to sit there and you want to sway the people, change their minds. Change their minds. And you're not going to do it, but like, look, I just fucking wrecked this liberal, blah, 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 or I just wrecked this fucking righty. It's like, yeah, it's cool. It gets a great viral video, but people are starting to wake up and just like, okay, but what did you really accomplish? Like, what did you really get out of that except making yourself feel good and intelligent?
Dude, I think that's the most American thing you could fucking say, what you just said, bro. Like, this is guilt on both sides. I listen, I tend to lean to the right as well, as you know, because I can't get down with logic fluidity, all right? Like, I'm not a hypocrite. I can't think one thing and another thing that don't go together at the same time. It's not in my brain. So I think what you said is really important, dude, regarding the BLM thing. And what I was laughing at is, you know, these fucking Marxist people, bro, they take this money they raised, they go buy these big houses. Do you know what the first fucking thing that Karl Marx says to do in a revolution? Is to find the richest people in your neighborhood and publicly execute them. Like, that's what they tell them to do. So these fuckers, like, they don't even know their own shit, dude. Yeah. And it's just like, you know, people are trend jumping and dude, that's another dangerous thing. Like, we have this trend culture of virtue signaling where, you know, when the mask thing came out, every influencer in the world was fucking selling masks and putting masks on and trying to look cool in their mask. You motherfuckers are the ones that created a lot of this shit, okay? And now those same people are in my DMs saying, what do I do? Well,
recant and be saved in the name of patriotism.
It would have helped if you wouldn't have done that, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's always okay to admit that you made a mistake.
100%.
It's always okay to say, hey, you know what? I didn't see that. Now I see it different. And that's okay, dude. And like, you know, when people do that, they're embraced. And I feel like, you know, because of the things you're saying, like you know, you said the right and the left, where they do this thing where it's like, fuck you, no fuck you. Dude, that's creating more loss for all of us.
Yeah.
It just is. And like, dude, I'm not down with it either. Like the whole canceling,
Yeah.
like we saw that thing. Did you see that thing where that lady in the bar down in Florida put the sign up, said no Biden supporters, and then she ran out of food? Okay. So this lady, in response to the companies or the restaurants that are mandating a vaccine, she said, okay, well then if you voted for Biden, I don't want your business, which, dude, you're perfectly free to do. And everybody on the right was like, yeah, see.
Stupid move.
I'm going to say two things about that. One, it does show you that most people are over this bullshit, okay? But the second thing is that doesn't help.
No.
That doesn't bring any unity. That's not something that is productive. And while you might be upset, and it might be, I can understand. Like, dude, here's what I gotta say. Like, I can understand why you would do that, being of how we all feel. But we also have to think higher than that and think that's not American either, right? And we've got to be honest with: are we being a good representation of what this values of this country should be? And dude, sometimes we're not. And so, I think the division, everybody needs to come together. I said in my story last night on IG, I'm like, hey, let's get on the same page. The page is called "We're All Getting Fucked." It'd be nice if we could all get on the page. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you're damn right. Yeah.
Let's all flip to that page. 500 and something, day 587 of Flatten the Curve, and realize that this page is called "We Are All Getting Fucked," okay? And we're going to now realize that on the next page that we're going to not be fucked any longer together.
We unite, yeah.
Yes, and that's where we need to get real fast, because if we keep buying this divisive, crazy shit, and here's what I will say too, dude. People are like, oh, Trump. Listen, dude, we are more united right now as America than we were when Trump was in office. Period. Okay, we're getting closer and closer and closer to true unity. And people are saying, well, he's going to come back. He's going to do this. Listen, bro, if you're sitting there depending on someone else to come in and clean up your life and clean up your problems, the same thing's going to happen over and over again.
Yep.
The only people that can fix this are us. And I'm not saying, hey, get my AR and let's go fucking kid up. And that's not what I'm saying. Dude, we are still in a great position in this country to do these things peacefully by simply getting active. By
civil disobedience.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's
100%.
Yeah. And dude, we should be considering how blessed we are to still be in that position, because a lot of these countries are not. Yep. They are far beyond the ability to continue to fix things within their framework of their country. We still can, but it has to happen now. It has people. And like, dude, the one thing you said earlier about paying a price for freedom, you went overseas. A lot of your friends, a lot of my friends went overseas. We all know people who didn't come back from overseas. That's a big price to pay for freedom. Being away from your family, putting your life on hold, all these things. All we have to do as citizens for freedom is speak the fuck up. Okay, we have a much easier task. What our bullets are going to be people attacking us verbally. That's not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and let me tell you something. 80% of the people agree with people that are pro-America, pro-freedom right now, and this is how stupid the media is. You can tell because they put out polls that don't ask direct questions, and if you pay attention to those polls, you'll see where the social temperature is. For example, there was a poll on Yahoo last week that said, are you willing to support a restaurant or a business that mandates a vaccine to enter? And 80% of people said no. 80%. What does that tell you, dude? That tells you that 80% of, because dude, the lines have been drawn, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody's kind of over here or they're over here. And if 80% of the people say, hey, no, we don't want that, whether they have the vaccine or not, that should tell you that most people are over this shit and they're not going to go for the discrimination. And here's what's fucking crazy, dude. there's still business owners wanting to push this through on their own business. I actually see it as a great thing because I think it'll weed out a lot of the weak businesses.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the weak businesses are going to misjudge social temperature.
Yep.
They're going to alienate their customers, and they're going to go out of business. And that's natural selection of business. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you are someone who thinks it's okay to mandate a medication on your employees, to mandate that your customers have a certain medication, you don't deserve to be in business. So it'll take care of itself.
I agree. We had an issue with the Texas Renaissance Festival. We have Tipsy's Woodworking that we sell our tankards out there, and we, last season 2020, and this is at the height of COVID. All they made us do was just wear a mask and then record daily temperatures to make sure nobody exhibited the symptoms. And then 1 month prior, 2 months prior, that we've been making tankards all year, they come back to us and say, oh, by the way, to be a vendor or a pass holder, you actually have to show proof of vaccination. I was like, you can go fuck yourself. I was like, we've been working all year, and you spring this on us now. Now, again, I have employees that have gotten the jab. I'm not against it. Do what you feel comfortable doing. Yes. I'm not. I know the government. I know we have a rushed process right now. I don't trust anything the government has to say, especially Fauci. I don't. And people are finally starting to get a behind-the-scenes look at how the government operates and how ineffective and inefficient it is. That's why we should have minimal government interventionism or involvement, because everything they touch, they fuck up. It turns to shit. But the Texas Renaissance Festival tried to do this. I posted it on social media, and our followers went and fucking just obliterated them. And then they changed their positions like, okay, well, pass holders don't have to show proof of vaccination. And you want to talk about the absolute stupidity. I was getting flashbacks of being in the Army because we do shit, just enormous amounts of dumb shit for the sole reason of, well, that's how we've always done it. Well, if there's more effective ways, why don't we? Well, no, Private Burke. We've always done it. This makes no sense, Sarn. It makes no sense. So what they would say to us is that we want our vendors vaccinated to protect the patrons from getting COVID. I was like, wait. Number one, the vaccine does not stop the spread. Fauci even said that. Number two, to protect the patrons, you have 30 to 50,000 people a day coming into your fair. Like, do you really think that having vaccinated vendors is going to protect them? If anything, you're taking the minority and putting them more at risk for having unvaccinated people or a mix. So the things that people are doing right now don't make fucking sense. And that's what drives me bonkers. It's like Fauci's come out and said this. Emails have been leaked. We've seen this. So how are people still so willing to just ostrich their head in this pile of misinformation bullshit and not wake up and say, hey, this doesn't make sense? They are stripping away individual liberties for this narrative that's got you so fucking afraid. And bro, and you're right. Like, we all I bought into this. Like, I was kind of like, oh fuck, like this is real. Stay indoors. I did my part. I was like, okay. But and I even got COVID, and I was like, wait a minute. Something's not adding up, man. Something is not adding up, because this 2-week flatten the curve, like when it first started, I was like, okay, wait a minute. Now we're starting to see slow infringement. And that's how it always is, man. It's never going to happen overnight. It's not we just flip the switch and suddenly we have an authoritarian government. It's like the frog in the boiling water thing. You put that frog in there in cold water, the same fucking thing. The same thing with the American Revolution before that first shot rang out and ignited the fucking powder keg that led to the American Revolution. America's getting to that point where people are getting fed up. When you have cities and states like Portland, Oregon, they're saying we're banning travel and commerce. They're going to vote on it from Texas, and you're sitting there pushing this. It's like, bro, you don't understand that you are literally about to ignite a powder keg that we don't have to go down this road. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. But instead, all you're doing is just pushing more misinformation. Just keep them fighting, keep them angered, keep them just not knowing who to trust. But instead, just think for yourself. Just make the decisions for yourself. You know your body better than the government does. So I know that if I fucking go out there and I get COVID, which I did, it's like, go exercise. Which led me to this this bullshit that really blew my mind, is that Dunkin' Donuts or whoever with Krispy Kreme, get a free donut with your vaccination. It's like, why doesn't, like, where did this this movement come from that you can't say the truth in regards to, like, what is it, like 81%, 80% of deaths from COVID have been also attributed to obesity? Yes. But where's the public knowledge on, hey, fat fuck, put the fat pills down, go walk. And I'm not saying, this is where people get it wrong. They take it like, oh, you want me to be fucking juiced up, 6-pack. No, that's not fitness. I mean, it's partially, but I'm talking about within moderation. You don't have to go out there and six-pack, but take your fat ass off the couch, turn off the Kardashians, and go take care of the only body you've got. But if you say that, you're a fat shamer. Then you got people on the internet coming after you like, I'll be the one to say it. I fucking told you, America. I told you. I told you in 2015. Oh, he's a fat shamer. You're goddamn right I'm a fat shamer. You know how many lives I probably saved by putting that shit out there? And like, I get messages to this fucking day. Your original video, Burke, I still watch it. I've dropped 100 pounds. You just fucking improved the quality of your life. And who knows, you probably extended it. But nobody wants to fucking sit there and congratulate the bad guy because it hurt people's feelings and they didn't want to have that. Instead, I want to live in this little bubble where everything just makes me feel good. You wipe my ass, you pat me on the head, you tell me what a good little boy I am. But when somebody comes in and says, hey, that's not how life works, bro. That's not how the fucking body works. If you're eating more than you're fucking exercising, you're burning, you're going to get fat. And then people will use this stupid fucking argument of like, what about people that are obese from, generically or genetically inherited? That's like a single percentile. A single fucking percentile, but you can't say that. So it's just like the abortion argument with rape and incest. It's like you're taking the single percentile and framing the entire basis of your argument around the minority. That makes no fucking sense. Yeah. So, and I'm not sitting, I don't hate fat people, but I just think that your way of life, that you're intentionally destroying the only temple you've got, you're fucking retarded. You are in my mind. Like it's like buying a fucking new Ferrari of yours and say, hey, every day I'm gonna grab this fucking hammer and put a dent in it. It's like, why? Why are you doing this? This makes no sense to me.
Yeah, bro. First of all,
this makes no sense to me.
First of all, bro, the truth is always okay. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I've been fat. I've been a fat fuck. Okay. I've struggled with my weight my whole fucking life. And anybody who follows me knows that. I was 350 pounds. I've been 330 like 4 times in my life. All right. It's a constant struggle. I have a food addiction for sure. I overeat tremendously. Like, dude, the reason I don't drink alcohol anymore is because I'm a fucking glutton when it comes to alcohol. Like, dude, that shit's hard. It's a hard thing to overcome. But listen, anybody who tells you, any fucking person who tells you, I don't care who the fuck they are, when I was 350 pounds and I couldn't buy clothes, I couldn't find clothes that fit. Every time, dude, I wore the same outfit every single day because I thought it made me look skinnier. I wouldn't go to pools. I wouldn't go on vacation. I wouldn't go to barbecues. Dude, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you are sitting there at 300, super unhealthy weight where you're looking in the mirror, there is no amount of convincing. There is no amount of positive self-talk. There is no amount of coddling yourself that is going to talk yourself into actually feeling good. You can brag about it, you can claim it, but listen, you ain't fooling me, motherfucker. I've been fat. I know what it's about. And I'm telling you right now, all of the people out there listening, if that's you, it is worth 1,000 times the work it will take to get to where you're super happy with who you actually are. It is worth it. And dude, not only is it worth it, it's become your societal duty because our health is now in question. Okay? And that's how I see it. Like, dude, if you haven't improved your health over the last 500 days, you're a big problem in society right now.
We have to question priorities on that one. Like, where are people's priorities? And then, like you said, like speaking up on these freedom issues coincide with your freedom of market, with your businesses. Your health should be your main focus every day. Like when I wake up, like I don't go to the gym anymore and kill myself. I don't lift insanely heavy. I go and I do moderate exercise. I maintain what I've got, and people can do that. But the problem is that when you make these comparisons, it's always done with the extremist being the example. It's like, oh, so you're saying you want me to fucking be Jay Cutler. I'm like, no, that's not what we're saying at all. But people like taking that extremism and using that as like, oh, so this is what you want. It's like, don't sit there and tell me, like, I like how you said it. Don't tell me that you feel confident being fat. Why would you sit there and encourage somebody's mindset? Or let's just lazy. Let's just talk about any other characteristic that doesn't benefit you in some way, shape, or form. Why would you encourage willful ignorance? Why would you take pride in that? It's the same as like encouraging obesity or glorifying. It's like, hey, my name is John Burke, and I'm kind of stupid, and we should praise that. It's like, oh, yes. Oh, so brave. So brave. He's so ignorant. Like, why would you take pride in this? When did America shift focus on praising ignorance? Like, this is where we're at now. And this is why our generation of men these days are little beta bitches. Like, women, God bless you. I don't know how you do it. Like, sincerely, like, in this day and age of your natural selection of males in this society, like, when I look around on social media or in life in general, I see so many guys that are hunched over, they're looking down, they're beta males, and I'm not knocking. If that's who you are, that's who you are. But we don't have the selection we once did where men were fucking men. Like, a woman could look at a man and is like, yeah, I bet he'd fuck me raw dog like 3 ways from Sunday and have me crying, but fuck, I want that dude between my legs. And you look at this other little beta bitch, it's like, he looks like he probably cries after sex. Like, is this really what you want? I was thinking about that today in the gym. I was like, women, how the fuck do you do it? And feminism encouraged this. We want men more effeminate, more in touch with their emotions. And I completely understand that, and I agree. There comes a moderation of you should be in touch with your emotions and your femininity in regards to the arts, culture. We can go a whole spiel on that. But it went so far the opposite direction. It's like, I'm a man and I like women. And it's like, bro, really? Like, I honestly, and I'll say something even bolder here, I think half of people, like that Biden commercial they did with the little intern with the long nails, like, and he's gay. He's clearly gay. I said, but why are you acting like that? Like, I know my brother's gay. I know a lot of gay people. They don't act like that. Like, you're buying into a fucking stereotype.
You know, that is true, bro. That is true. I don't know any gay people that act like that.
No.
I don't. All the gay people I know, and we have a few in the office here, they're normal functioning people in society. Like, dude, if I was a gay man, I would probably be upset with the way they portray that image in society.
I mean, I can't even imagine being a gay man right now and then seeing these other beta males. Like, what do you think of him? Is like, oh no, like, I'm gay, but that's super gay. Like, that's straight gay. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, no, absolutely not.
If you look at it, dude, they've removed masculinity from society systematically. Yep. You and I are old enough to have seen it happen. That's the problem. So, like, the guys right now and the girls right now who are 22 to 18 to 25 years old, they didn't see that removed. You know,
that's a good point.
Yeah, you and I, we're old enough to have seen it removed systematically out of our society. You know, it went from, you know, our dads who could take a lawnmower apart and put it back together to, you know, man buns and Starbucks Ultra Frappuccino.
Oh, why'd you have to go after Starbucks? Come on.
Okay, I'm serious.
No, I feel you. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, it just went, it's gone to where the masculine, and what's funny is now, like, a lot of the women do complain. Like, I see all the time.
Yes,
there's no men. Well,
you created this. Feminism created this.
Hey, if you want to fix this shit, stop fucking losers.
Tell the fucking blue hairs to shut the hell up. Like, tell them they're the ones ruining society. They're the ones espousing this bullshit of what they want in men. It's like, and then men that are simping, they want to get their dick wet. Well, they adhere to this idea, and then they get like the fucking, like, they just change themselves. It's like, okay, I can't be masculine. Like, dude, I would much rather have a gay guy that's a fucking meat eater, that's an alpha, next to me than a straight dude that's a little beta bitch. Like, that willfully does that for the sake of fitting into certain cultures in society. It's like, instead, be who you want to be. Be yourself. If you want to be a hard-charging, hard-dick motherfucker, you're going to offend and you're going to trigger a lot of weak motherfuckers. But what do you care? Or you're going to be the opposite. What do you care? Be who you want to be, but don't sit there and try and change all of society to adhere to your individualistic beliefs of what a man or a woman should be or should do. Be who the fuck you want to be. If you want to be a hard-charging meat eater, fucking be it.
Well, dude, and also I think a lot of younger people are confused on what masculinity really is. True. You know, they think masculinity. They see us, right? We both got tattoos. We're both like, you know, I got a beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, we both kind of look that part, but that's not actually even masculinity at all. No. Masculinity, really, dude, is real simple. Know what you are, know who you are, and stand for that consistently. 100%. It's 100%. Really simple. It's really simple.
It went beyond like. Yeah.
What's that?
It went beyond, like, and, you know, like I said, with progressivism came some good conversation. It went beyond to where, hey, be a man, suppress your shit, to where it's like, hey, be a man and go get help. And I agree with that. And you're right. It's like masculinity, in my opinion, and, you know, everybody has a different definition of what normal is, or what successful means, or what rich means. But in my mind, like you just said, I was always raised that your word is your bond. You stand for what you believe in, and you never kneel to anybody except God. Yeah. And I always embraced that. And then the military had a big push into that. But
there's one more. Don't apologize unless you actually did something wrong.
True.
And when you did something wrong, genuinely apologize.
Yeah.
We've got this thing in culture now, bro, where everybody apologizes at the first fucking sign of disagreement.
Yeah.
Hey, fuck you if you don't like what I have to say.
Yeah.
You can say what you want. I'm going to say what I want.
Bro, I call it the you've got your 75 hard, which, by the way, I totally misjudged that when I first started trying it, because I couldn't maintain an erection over 30 minutes. And I was like, 75 days of being hard. How the fuck is it?
75 days, bro.
No, like, yeah, your program, there's been a lot of great people out there trying this, but my own personal kind of thing is I call it the 3F approach of life. It's that if unless you feed, fuck, or finance me, I don't fucking care what you think about me. I don't care your opinion about me, and I get a lot of blowback from people, especially in the veteran community, because there's one thing.
Misunderstood. I think a lot of people misunderstand you.
Well, I think, yeah, they haven't followed my own journey to where they see John Burke as the diehard Trump loyalist, to where I've done that transition to a more libertarian centrist viewpoint. So they see me back how I was, and I fully understand that. But they'll come at me sideways like, bro, you're a Trump dick rider. It's like, I'm not. But you haven't paid attention, so I can't really blame you for that. But yeah, I mean, when you open your mouth, and that's for everybody listening, like, don't sit there and think that when you open your mouth on social media or in life that you're not going to get blowback. Like, you will. Like, I was working with a local charity, and they were going to do an event. I'm not going to name them by name. And they had told me they'd gotten some blowback because my name was associated with it in the veteran one. It was a veteran charity. It's like, I don't think they felt comfortable having John Burke there because he's too controversial. It's like, you know what? Fuck you then. Like, I don't care. Like, I was doing you a favor, or I'm going to come help you out. But if you really care so much about the optics, like Nine Line came and did an interview with me, and there were veterans like, oh, you really want this guy? Like, he gives veterans a bad name. It's like, really? Like, I'm going on a little bit of a rant here. It's like, I give veterans a bad name? I've never used my veteran status to say, hey, I'm speaking on behalf of all veterans. I said, I'm just an asshole who so happens to be a veteran, and these are my experiences as a veteran. But these dudes that come at me sideways on social media because of veteran shit, it's like, you were sucking my dick when you needed help raising money for your GoFundMe or your veteran cause or your nonprofit. But then when I say something that goes counterline to what you believe, John Burke's a bad human being, he's a bad veteran, don't associate with him, he's a loose cannon. Like, I've been warned from larger up dudes that run companies that, hey, you got some friends that were in our DMs warning us about you, saying that you are a loose cannon, you're very political. And it's like, yes, I am. I speak my mind. But the one thing, like you, Andy, where people that talk to you, they know where they stand with you. They don't have to fucking make, like, I wonder what John thinks. I'll tell you what I fucking think. I'm not gonna hide that shit.
I actually love that. I love
absolutely.
I love people around me like that.
Yeah.
I love people around me who tell me the truth. They don't tell me yes, you know. And I also love people who don't tell me, you know, like, dude, there's a balance, right? Like, you don't want the people who always tell you you're wrong just to disagree either. Yeah. You know, because there's people like that. But dude, look, man. Healthy discourse. Listen, to anybody out there who's like nervous about speaking up, let me explain something to you. First off, 80% of the people are going to fucking be like, yeah, dude, that's what's going on. Okay. Secondly, it's real easy. If someone disagrees with you, it's really easy. It's really fucking easy. Here's how you say it. Hey, man, you know, we all have different perspectives. You grew up a different way than I grew up. Yeah. You observe life a different way than I see it. And, you know, I could appreciate that you have that perspective. This is just my perspective on things, and we could disagree. And, dude, you know what's funny is that when people hate on me, bro, which is very rare, by the way, a lot of people think, like, every time you speak up, you know, you're getting all, like, thousands of hates. No, dude, it's thousands of loves and one or two hates. We just, as humans, tend to focus on the negative because it pisses us off.
100%.
But let me tell you something, dude. This is real shit. So when George Floyd happened, I had a lot of, because, like, dude, I wouldn't post the black square. I didn't do it because I understood how corrupt that actual organization is because it started here in St. Louis, where I'm from. Ferguson is 15 minutes from me. So that happened in 2014 for people that don't know with Mike Brown. They took all this money, they didn't do shit for the community, and they fucking bounced. That's a fact. I watched it happen. So for me, I got a preview, and I wasn't going to post it. And when I didn't post it, I had a lot of people who were fans of mine and customers of mine who were black and white reach out and be like, hey, Andy, I think that's fucked up. But here's the thing. Every fucking one of them, I took the time and had a conversation with them. And whether or not we went back and forth on voice notes like how you and I do, or I picked up the phone and called them, I explained it to him, and you know what happened, bro? We became better friends.
Yeah.
All those people, like some of these dudes that were coming out of the woodwork that I didn't even know, now I'm talking to them consistently in DMs because they do have a different perspective, and we're learning from each other. And we're like, you know, like, dude, I can remember this one kid, you know who I'm talking about, that Michael kid that we talked about in the gym that one day 2 years ago, DJ. That kid that hit me up, and he was like, man, fuck you for that. And I started voicing him. So this guy, he messaged me. He's young. He's 22 years old. He messaged me, and he's like, bro, I've always looked up to you for your success, but this is bullshit. You know, this is a black kid. And his brother's gay. Okay. And he starts going in on me on all this shit. And I just voiced him. I started voicing him. I said, hey, bro, listen, man, I understand why this would upset you. And I totally get it because you have this perspective. But here's where I'm coming from. And I went through and I voiced very respectfully. And you know what, dude? I never met that kid before that conversation. Now that kid represents our company. Okay. He's a tremendous athlete. We still disagree on a ton of shit, and we have healthy conversations consistently, and it helps me see where he's seeing, so that I don't get so far off on my perspective. And bro, this is how healthy relationships work. And as Americans, you know, I don't care what your belief is, we have to respect each other enough to realize, hey, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're gay, I don't care if you're trans. We still have to live together and work together to create a good society where we all benefit and we all have the opportunities. I'm 100% with that. The problem is like we've said on the show, we have these elite people putting these narratives down on us that says, hey, that guy there, that white guy, he fucking hates you behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, they tell the trans people, all those people hate you behind closed doors. And bro, that's not true. The real life is we all go out in society and we're at the grocery store. We're polite to each other. When we see each other at the restaurant, we're polite to each other. Americans are good people, bro. They're not these evil fucks that society has made us all seem like we are. And the sooner that we remember that, the quicker we get back to not allowing these old, entitled, and because, dude, this is how the dynamic is. Here's us. And here's them. And they're putting this shit on us. And then we're arguing about it. And like, dude, the minute that we just say, hey, fuck you guys, it's the minute that we can stop all this shit. And like, I'm not saying, you know, let's go overthrow the government. What I'm saying is let's get involved. Okay. Let's take an interest. Let's look at civic duty as service now. You know, like for me, dude, I'm going to start getting involved in this shit. I'm getting a tour bus. I'm going to go on a tour.
No way.
Yeah, bro.
Dude, that's awesome.
I'm going to go on a tour to talk about America, bro.
That's fucking sick. Good for you.
Yeah. And that's it. It's not political. I'm not going to run for office. I'm not trying to. I want to go around and do a grassroots, you know, town hall style, you know, hey, this is what America is, and help remind people what we are so that we can help. Because, dude, what we really have here, bro, is a culture problem. We've got a culture problem. Okay. And culture problems can only be fixed by having the buy-in of your people. The people in this situation are Americans. So how do we get the buy-in of Americans? We can't do this with one big rally or one big message. It's going to take millions upon millions upon millions of, hey, I'm Andy. Nice to meet you. I can't do it all. You can't do it all. And none of us can do it all, but we can all do a little bit. And if we all do a little bit, the culture will change back to where it should be. And so, dude, I didn't get to serve. I didn't get to do any of that shit. I was running businesses. And so I'm going to start bringing awareness to this and hopefully, you know, that'll make me feel better about contributing some good to this country. You know what I mean?
It's a commendable idea. I mean, that's never really thought of it that way. I mean, honestly, it's like you'd be running as a politician that's not trying to get elected. I like that. I like the fact that you'd be willing to go out there and
I want to bring people who have different opinions but still stand for America to come with me occasionally. You know what I'm saying? Where like I go from, let's just say, St. Louis to Nashville, and then I have like you come down and be a guest, or and then I go to Nashville to Memphis, and I have you know, somebody else, Jocko or someone, come talk. You know, or however we do it. I haven't got it all exactly planned out, but my point is, bro, we need an American resurgence. We need American We need to remember who we are as Americans, and that we are not that different, and that we are not enemies, and that we have to get along. Otherwise, we are going to self-destruct and also be speaking Chinese. So, bro, it's true.
I agree.
I don't. People realize how vulnerable we are right now.
Especially on the international stage. Like, you look at what happened in Afghanistan, you've got China now in bed with Afghanistan, and America is just, it's on the sidelines again. Like, bro, I've never in my life would I ever look at, like, right now, Taliban got us by the balls. Like, the Americans that are still stranded over there, which, dude, you want to talk about, like, having my mind blown. The Secretary of Defense is over there meeting with people in the Middle East, and the president's doing his own thing. Kamala is nowhere to be found. We still have Americans left in Afghanistan. Like, why would anybody want to serve an administration where in the ethos of most branches, there's one little line in there that talks about, like, leave no man behind? We're doing that, right? It's still ongoing right now. So it's like America has lost its balls. It used to be that we will go over there, and if we leave one American, we will carpet bomb your fucking city to get that American. You touch one hair on that American's head, I'm going to fucking annihilate your ass. America's lost that. Like, I made a post on my Facebook and kind of went semi-viral. I was like, I would fucking surgically remove my left nut with a rusty spoon to get one General Patton. Give me one fucking Schwarzkopf. Give me one motherfucker out there that will tell orders like, go fuck yourself. This is what's happening. I'll sacrifice my career. It's like, because we used to have leaders that would actually stand for what's right. They would stand up for what's right and say, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. This is what right looks like. But now we are so caring about the almighty dollar. Like, John, and I'm so tired of hearing it. Like, John, I might get fired, or, as a cop, I listened to the podcast you had with what's his face on. Like, I remember sharing that video. The cop? Yes. I remember calling him. We actually spoke. But
he was a stud.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, don't tell me that you can't do it when there's other examples of people that have done it. Like, don't tell me you can't. You fucking can. But in your mind, you have created this worst case scenario because we all think like that. We are so afraid, like, even in the entrepreneurial mindset, we are so afraid of pushing out into the darkness and the ether of the unknown, because in our minds, we have created the most horrific monsters that exist out there. But I'm telling you, man, once you fucking just say, you know what, I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of holding myself back. My nipples are so hard. Again, I'm getting myself riled up. Well, I'm tired of being this way. And then when you actually step out into the darkness, you're like, oh, fuck, this actually isn't that bad. And you want to hear something that's even crazier. Going into combat, like, I was 18 when I hit the Iraq theater during the invasion, and I'm sitting there, bro, you want to talk about scared? My first experiences was being intense in fucking Kuwait when Saddam was launching fucking rockets and we got Patriots shooting these things down. I'm in a bunker at 18 years old with a gas mask, my M16, like, oh my God, like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? But then you start to acclimate, you start to adjust. And it's funny because now we have a thing called mask fatigue. People are tired of the masks. Even people that actually bought into it, like, I'm so sick of this fucking mask. We'd be over there and we get mortared, rocketed, you name it, they would throw it at us. You're like, you can always tell like a cherry in combat because the first time you get hit with indirect fire, they're running to the bunker. The seasoned veterans are like, they get out of bed and they look, did it hit close? No, going back to bed. It's like, wait, what? It's like, dude, if it's going to hit, it's going to hit. Like, that's all there is to it. So it's kind of like you embrace that mentality. So you'll be surprised what you can get accustomed to. People always say, and it comes from ignorance, none of their fault. It's just like, oh, I can't believe you went through that. It's like, you could too with the proper training. Don't sit there and make us out to be fucking hero or like Superman. No, with the proper training, you can do it as well. You just don't want to, and I don't fault you for that. But it's the same in business and our entrepreneurial mindset or speaking out. You're afraid of the monsters that aren't even real. You created them.
That's a fact. See, I can't relate to the battle thing, right? Like, because I can't relate. I don't have that perspective. But I can relate on the business aspect.
Yeah.
Bro, I totally agree with that on that aspect. Every single human out there is capable. They are. They're capable. And if that's how you're aligning it in your brain, that makes sense to me because it never really made sense to me before. Like, I always thought the same shit. Like, holy fuck, like these guys, how the fuck do you do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't realize one of the reasons I'm so outspoken about this in America is that my dad's biological father was killed in World War II at the end of the war, a few days after D-Day, and my dad never got to meet his dad. So my grandma was pregnant with my dad, and he went over and got killed. Okay, and my dad's best friend came back and raised my dad, and then so I think about he was only 20 or 21, I think, when he got killed. And bro, he's just a super like I just think about that. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
like this guy never got to see his kids grow up. He never got to see his grandkids.
Yep.
Like, dude, we're doing some significant things in the world. You know, I hope if he's watching, he's proud. But like, I can't sit back and be silent knowing that is in my family tree. Like, it's just, you know, a lot of people.
We're descendants of warriors.
Yeah, and so, dude, like, you know, I would encourage everybody to think about that a little bit. You know, think about what's been paid for you to have the opportunity to speak, because here's the dangerous part, guys. You know, yes, revolutions have happened over and over and over again in history, but the problem with this time is that if we lose this one, we will fucking lose forever.
Yep.
Okay? And the reason is because technology has advanced to such a degree that it would be impossible for the ants, which is us, to overcome it. So if we let this go, 10 more steps the other way, we ain't coming back.
Yep.
And so that's why I said earlier, we're in a very pivotal time in human history to where we have to recognize that we are in serious danger of going into a real Orwellian, for real.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Techno, you know, crazy fucking, like, some bad shit, basically.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. Because once you have those freedoms stripped away, the only way you get them back is through blood. You look at, you look at Cuba. You look at the revolution they're launching over there, as far as like what their ancestors did to them. They sold out their guns. They basically bought into the government. They bought into communism. They toppled. And now they're having to kill to get it back. And that's why we should be so incredibly grateful to our forefathers that paid that price. And I think it's become more realistic. No, I mean, to me especially, like when you look around at what other countries are going through, what Afghanistan's about to go through, because if you think there isn't going to be a civil war over there of like internal fighting, there is. But how blessed and beneficial we should feel that our forefathers already did that. Our brothers and sisters already did that. And we don't have to do it again. But like you said, bro, we're like, you want to talk about propaganda, like the Patriot Act, that at the time I was for it, but I was 18, 17. I didn't know any better. It's like, oh, well, what do you have to worry about if you're not a terrorist?
Bro, they lied to us.
And then you get into it. It's like, wait a minute, like, hold on, that, like, no, that's an infringement. Like, even Dan Crenshaw, like, he's been on the show twice. There are things that I do not agree with him about. Like, I think he's more larger government. But the fact that he will even come on the podcast and even discuss his viewpoints, I'm incredibly appreciative of. It's like, and I've told him, it's like, we don't agree on everything. I get where you're coming from. I get your perspective. And it's good to have that kind of conversation. But, oh, my God, like, people buy into something and they would never think about it. It's like, wait, could I be wrong on this? And there's nothing wrong with questioning your beliefs.
Yeah, I saw like people getting a little lippy with you about like you didn't go hard enough on him.
Oh, well, yeah.
This isn't about that. This is not about that. It's not about embarrassing someone or cornering someone.
I've got a congressman coming on my podcast. And people forget that he is my guest. I'm not going to get there and like do a gotcha moment. I don't want to do that. Like, because then he's never going to come back. And what does that really accomplish?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, Burke told off Crenshaw. It's like, okay, yeah, cool. I can stroke my own dick a little bit, but what does that serve? Or we have a conversation that maybe people can glean some little tidbits of truth from, and maybe they can help make up their own mind more, which is ultimately what we want. And that I see that shit all the time. It's like, oh, it was milquetoast. Well, then here, do this. You start your own podcast, and you get a sitting congressman to come on your podcast, and you try and rip them up.
Yeah, and then rip them up and see how many people ever want to talk to you again.
Bingo.
Yeah, like, dude, that's not the way to do it. And you know, so look, I think the good news is this. I think the good news is that every hardship that we've ever gone through as a country, we have come out stronger. Oh, yeah. And I believe that this time we will as well. I believe that America will survive, and not only survive, I think it will resurgence to a point of pro-America freedom that you and I have never fucking seen before. And that's exciting because 9/11 was pretty awesome right afterwards, right?
Yeah, everybody was united, yeah.
Oh, God, dude. That was the coolest time. And, like, I was 21 years old, okay? So that, like, was, you know, at the prime of my youth phase, right? Like, dude, people loved each other. People cared about each other. People worked together. There was none of this, you know, you're a racist for being born white bullshit going around. Yeah. Like, you know, there was none of this shit. And it was just pure love, dude. And America's going to get back to that. And because I can feel it, dude. I can see people who had bought into this shit for a long time, even people who were activists, right? Like people who were activists for feminism, who I'm friends with, or activists for these other causes. Even those people, dude, are reaching out to me and they're like, yeah, this fucked up, bro.
Maybe we fucked up. I should probably go back. Yeah, 100%.
Dude, you know what? I'm not mad at him. I say, hey, you know what, dude? I'm really proud of you and I respect you for coming around. Yeah. And like, that's the mentality that I wish people would have more of, because what's happening right now is, you know, a lot of these people realize what's going on is wrong, but they won't come out and say it because they're afraid that people like us are going to attack them. No, dude, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you a big ass hug and say, hey,
welcome.
You know,
that's the thing that they, it's funny, and I'm going off on a different direction of this, but, you know, I'm talking to the porn star. I think her name is Brandy Love. And Brandy Love was basically turned. Do what?
It's funny you brought her up, dude. I got a big argument about that situation, about her CPAC. She got kicked out of CPAC.
It was something, yeah. I don't know if it was it CPAC or was it a Turning Point Youth Summit? Because I heard it
was one of those.
So the Turning Point Youth Summit, if that was the case, I can understand that. You know, it's a group of young Americans. You don't really want a porn star there. I respect that. But then there's a lot of conservatives that we talk about that if this table ain't big enough for everybody, that we're going to be discriminatory. It's like those people that don't align with you morality-wise, you want them. Like, it should be one big umbrella of tolerance and understanding that we respect one another's freedoms. Like, and people don't understand that. It's like, well, no, unless you're not a real conservative, you're not a real Republican unless you embrace Christian ideologies. Like, you do realize, like, if that's the platform you're going to take, you're going to lose every election. You're going to lose that.
Bro, those people don't really know anything about Jesus. Jesus hung out with fucking prostitutes, bro.
Yeah.
Okay? So that was the ironic thing about that whole situation to me, is that you have a bunch of people who are Christian and they're high and mighty and this and that. And look, dude, I'm a Christian. Okay. I get it. I understand that. But I also understand that if you actually educate yourself about Jesus and what he did, and the whole purpose of Jesus was to set an example of how we should act, not for him to tell us what to do. Yeah. Okay. And we may not all wear sandals and walk around with a robe and act just like Jesus, but the idea of how he lived, it was to serve as a guide for how we should live. And so one of the things is that, dude, he spent time with the outcasts. He spent time with the prostitutes. Yeah. He spent time with the people who were shunned in society. And guys, if you're going to kick a porn star, dude, do I agree with her way of making living? No, I don't. But it's also not okay to stick her and say, hey, you're not a part of us because we're too Jesus for you. Yeah. Bro, that is like the most hypocritical shit out there. So,
I mean, I'm glad you used that reference. I mean, because Jesus hung out with the prostitutes. I guess you could say in my own way, I've done a lot to get back because I've hung out with a lot of prostitutes. No, I'm playing. My girlfriend's listening to this right now, baby. I'm playing. I'm kidding. I have never paid for sex in my life. No. No, but you're 100% right. And do what?
Have you been paid?
No. I mean, that would be really cool, though. I like the thought. I don't even know why I had to think about that. Like, I've never been paid for sex. I mean, I probably could. I've been told I should start an OnlyFans. Like, I don't know why you'll want me to disappoint you at such a mass level. Like, it's like, oh, there's Burke. It's like, oh, wow, he really must hate his father. He didn't get much to work with. So, I'm just sitting there. But this has been the continuous conversation I've had with Republicans. It's like, if you're going to base your entire political ideology off of religion and legislating morality, you're going to lose. Yeah. And how do you not see this as being something that's all-encompassing for the sake of liberty? Like, if we sit there and say we should be united and then be able to worship as we see fit, you can't cherry-pick the Constitution. You can't cherry-pick freedom. You can't cherry-pick the 1A and when it's applicable and when it's not. So, I've been DMing Brandy Love, and I was like, I told her, I would love to bring you on. I was like, and like you said, like, I don't agree with how you do it, but here's the thing. It's like homosexuality, transgender, whatever. It's like, look, if you are so bent about being against homosexuality from a theological standpoint, I respect that, but here's what you do. Don't go out there and suck another dude's dick or marry another dude. Case closed, and you're good. And it's like, well, they're forcing it down my children's throat. That I can understand, but are you also saying that you're such a shitty parent that you can't raise your child how you want them to be? And it's kind of like, it like pissed me off when Kevin Hart came out and he did that special like 10 years ago, and he said like his son was doing, it's like, no, don't do that. That's gay. And people are like, oh my God, that's horrible. It's like, well, if that's how he wants to raise his child, so be it. And that's the difference of opinion, the difference of toleration or tolerance. It's like, Don't sit there and say what somebody should, could, would do if that's not you. So if Brandy Love wants to go out there and fuck a random dude or whatever for porn, I don't agree with it, but I'm just not going to go do it.
We don't have to agree with it.
Agree, yeah.
Like, dude, come on, man. Like, dude, look, here's the problem. And I know you're the same way. We're both wired the same exactly on this. I just don't like hypocrisy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like, dude, look. I don't like that shit. Like you shouldn't be discriminating against someone because of how they make their fucking living. It's none of your business. It really is.
Oh, I agree.
So, you know, and not because I get attached to all these conservatives as well, and I do lean that way, obviously, but that kind of shit I can't get down with. Like that's just not right. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody on both sides across the fucking planes of this country needs to examine themselves and say, man, you know what, dude? I'm not perfect. Because, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm definitely not. I am not a perfect human by any means. In fact, I'm a complete fuck up. I hate myself a lot of times because I've fucked up so much shit. But you know what, bro? I do my best to correct those mistakes, and I do my best to be better from those mistakes. Yeah. And we as this Americans have to come to terms with the idea that every single human that you watch, every single human you're influenced by, every single movie star, every single radio person, every single internet personality, all of those people are imperfect. Yeah. All of those people make mistakes. Yeah. All of those people have secrets that you don't know about, just like you have secrets that nobody knows about. Yep. And the fact that we are attacking people based on the minute we see that there's a crack in their armor, we want to destroy them. That's evil shit, bro. That's evil shit.
I agree. It's like you want to throw rocks at glass houses, like have fun. And that's why people like run for office. It's like, no, I would never want to put myself in Crenshaw's position. I would never want to put myself in a position where you have to sit there and pander to everybody for the sake of being accepted. Like I think like people like you and me can do way more good commentating and trying to change minds and cultivate culture to go in a specific way versus having to sit there and be the fall guy. Like, you mean, I called this like, during the last election, I was like, you know what? I think America needs 4 years of Biden. I think we do. I think we need 4 years. And people were like, you know, Republicans, and I understand why, were screaming bloody murder, like, oh, America's dead. It's over. We've lost. They have the holy trifecta. They've got all three branches are leaning left. We're fucked. It's like, no. This is a good thing. Let's let America see. Let Democrats specifically see what's going to happen when you have the trifecta of Democrat leadership immediately. Afghanistan withdrawal debacle, insanity. What's going on now at the southern border? And say like 40% of the people that came over like have not contacted their children. That's at the Biden administration right now. Kamala was given this. She's going over to other places and not even visiting the border. Like nothing is being done. So it's like, good. Let this continue because it's not irreversible. I mean, it is reversible. It's not irreversible. So Republicans that are sitting there like crying bloody murder is like, oh, it's the end of the world. It's really not. We're going to have some hard times ahead of us, but we need this because come 2022 midterms, come 2024 re-election or election season, shit's going to change. Shit's going to change, and I'm hoping for the better. And I hope it's not just GOP Republicans coming in. I hope it's a lot of people that are embracing more progressive ideologies in the sense of more tolerance, more saying, hey, live and let live for the sake of liberty and freedom. That's what we should be pushing. Not you got to believe it like I do. You got you know, fuck the Muslims, fuck the Christians. Like no, like we are a melting pot from every single person from around the world. There, when I had a conversation with a friend of mine, we were debating. Is like we should be embracing and promoting American culture. It's like, well, bro, can you tell me what American culture is? I was like, America doesn't have a culture. Our culture is the fucking world, and that's what makes America so incredible. Get it out of your mindset of being like the nuclear generation of America, of the white family in the kitchen, woman barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen, the man working. We're actually the opposite. We are a conglomeration of various different ethnicities, nationalities from people across the world. We came over here to escape persecution, and look how we've grown, but look how we've done it. Like, look how we've done it. And we've had a lot of fucking hiccups along the way, as with, like, a lot of these progressive millennials, like, oh, we have so much blood on our hands. Well, find me this utopia that you think exists that doesn't. But look how quickly we've progressed as a country in 250 years to become a national superpower by embracing one American ideology, which is when you hit us, we're going to hit back 10 times fucking harder. We're going to hit back with the Jews, the blacks, the Greeks, the Chinese, the whites. We're going to come together, and we're going to fuck you up. And that's how it should be. Yes. But we have veered so far from that, and I see it from both sides. So it's like, I'm telling you, bro, you want to make enemies, stand in the center and say, I disagree with you, and I disagree with you. And then you get accused of being a fence sitter. It's like, look, I just genuinely think that you're full of shit on this topic, and I agree with Democrats on this one, but Democrats are full of shit on this topic, and I agree with Republicans. Or I think you're both fucking retarded. Like, I think it's insane.
That's the story of my life, bro. And as I know yours too. Like I've never had a problem saying how it is, and it gets me some flack, but it also provides me with a tremendous sense of fulfillment, because the truth is people go fix their shit. Yeah. So I don't know, bro. I think we're on a good track. I don't disagree with what you're saying 100%, or about the we need 4 years of Biden. I think this generation of people needs a wake-up call. Yeah. And I agree. Like, what are the Democrats going to say in 2022?
Like, what they're saying now, which is nothing. Like, Democrats have been very quiet, very quiet.
You're going to fix the problems you fucking created? Mm-hmm. Wait, no, dude, no.
Bro, like these MSM commentators that are sitting there like praising the Biden administration for everything's done in Afghanistan with withdrawal. It's like Don Lemon. Hands down, Don Lemon. Don Lemon goes over there and is like, did we really leave America? Like, dude, I read the article and I'm like, this douchebag literally just said, did we really leave Americans over there? It's like, yes, Don, we did. Like, we most certainly did. And then his brother Fredo over there is in the hot light because his brother's over there sexually harassing women. And it's like, interesting how there's a trend with this. Like, interesting with the rich and powerful, how there's always a trend of sexual abuse and scandal and stuff like that. But, bro, I sit here and I watch this stuff, and it's like, people eat this shit up. But at first it was like, fuck CNN. Now it's kind of like, fuck CNN and fuck Fox. Like, you two are like two sides of the same fucking coin. But when you're able to pull back and say, like, wait a minute, we're being manipulated. Yes.
Like, dude, if you sit down for a week and you flip back and forth between CNN and Fox, you will very clearly see the antagonization of American people. You'll see it very clearly. My favorite is Rachel Maddow.
The personification of like left-wing feminism right there.
The dramatics that she tries. I'm just like, fuck. But yeah, dude.
I agree. Yeah. But brother, we are almost in 2 hours. I want to say thank you for coming on here and doing this. This has been a long time coming. Like, I had like podcast blue balls because we've been talking about doing this for a while. But if you leave the following with one parting piece of advice, thought that you have, like anything that you felt on your heart that you want to tell people.
Yeah, guys, look, America's for all of us. America is a beautiful place where, like John just said, it's people of all races, of all beliefs, of all different cultures that come together to create a real utopia. Okay. People say, oh, well, this place is evil. This is that. You know what? You haven't been anywhere. You haven't seen anything. You haven't gone to other countries. There is no other place like this. There is no other place where somebody can be born to literal poor parents who have never achieved anything and dig their way out of that hole to become a billionaire. Like, there's a guy here in St. Louis, Dave Stewart. He's a CEO of Worldwide Technology. He's a black man. He grew up in Ferguson, Missouri. One of the most murderous capitals of the entire country, year after year after year after year. This man is the wealthiest man in St. Louis. He came from there. The fact that we live in a country where that's even possible is beyond amazing. It's a true blessing. And dude, if we don't recognize it and get our eyes back in the game to protect it, okay, meaning we have to take an interest. We can't just be serving ourselves. We can't just be, going out there trying to make money all the time. We have to realize, well, what's the soil like that we're planting our seeds in? And right now, guys, the soil is very toxic, and we've got to clean it up. Okay. Otherwise, the businesses and the opportunities and the things that make America great are going to cease to exist. And so when people say, well, what can I do? I don't have a platform. You can do something. You can talk to your neighbors. You can have conversations. You can go to your school boards. You can go to your county meetings. Those are things that you can do. And while it might be scary, it might be super scary for you to type up a message on your phone and go up and read it in front of people. That is a tremendous payment into the culture. That's a tremendous payment into protecting the freedom, even if you don't get your way. Even if you don't get your way. So my message is, hey, I love all you guys. Every single one of you guys watching this right now, you know, we've got to come together, man. We've got to get smart, and we've got to realize, like I said earlier, we kind of laughed at it. We're on that page 500 where the page says, hey, we're all getting fucked. And the quicker that we can get to that page 502 or 503 where we start to realize it and fix it, the better we're going to be.
I love it, man. I love it. Thank you so much for coming. I was looking forward to this. Like, I really was. Like, I haven't been this motivated in a long time to talk to somebody that I know is just as fired up about shit as I am. So it's not. It was great to have you on here. Where can the audience find you at?
Yeah, so my website is andyfrisella.com. I do most of my content through podcast and then Instagram stories. So I don't really post static posts. I just use my stories. My Instagram is Andy Frisella, and then my podcast is in the business category of iTunes. It's called Real AF.
And you've had tremendous success with that.
Oh yeah, it's been I mean, yeah, dude, tremendous. When I was doing the MFCEO project, we were the #1 ranked podcast in business category for 19 months uninterrupted. So I mean, we've got a big audience on that show. And right now, you know, it's common for us to be in the top 5 almost every day. So
that's incredible.
Yeah, and you know, I got in it early, dude. I started the podcast when podcast was just getting cool again, and stay consistent. So this has been really cool.
That's awesome. Also, CEO of First Form, one of the better known business endeavors that you've done. That you created this, and this didn't happen overnight. Like, you literally scaled that business over what, 10, 20 years?
Yeah, so we started with a retail brand called Supplement Superstores in 1999. In 2009, we started First Form. So we've been in this nutrition space for 22, 23 years now. First Form's, you know, I guess 12 years old now. But yeah, man, we started with 12 grand. You know, we started with we didn't have people that gave us anything. It's the reason it's taken that long is because we've fucked everything up possible that you could fuck up. So, I
love that, though. That just means that you're fucking doing it. That means you're trying.
That's it, dude. And
there's nothing wrong with fucking up. It means you're actually trying something.
Yeah, but that's also why I know a lot of shit now, because I'm just smart enough to know that when I touch the stove and it's hot, to not touch it twice. So, that's it, dude.
Some of our employees here at Shell Shock, like we look at First Form as a reminder of like how quickly we're scaling, but it's just like we see the headquarters that you've got and everything, and it's just like, fuck, I want that. I was like, but that comes with time, that comes with consistency, that comes with coming together as a team and working to accomplish said goals. And it's really incredible what you've done, and also that you fostered an environment that when I announced that you were coming on the podcast, a lot of your employees were DMing me. Like, bro, you got Andy on, ask him about the environment that we have here. I was like, I see the environment you've got there. I see that your employees and stuff like that. So it's pretty impressive that you've got employees that are actually coming to me saying, bro, love Andy, amazing boss. Because my employees would probably DM you as like, John's a fucking prick. He's a slave driver. This guy's the biggest asshole. No, not really.
Oh, dude, I just paid him a little bit to do that. So
$50 if you DM John to announce us on the podcast. Yeah.
No, dude, listen, the people here are, when you come out, bro, you'll see. Like, these people.
We're coming. I'm coming.
Yeah. They're the best there are.
That's awesome.
You know, and it's cool because, like, you know, people are free here to be patriotic. They're free to disagree with me. They're free to, like, you know, they're free. Like, that's how it should be. So, you know,
I imagine embracing that type of stance, though, has come with some pushback over the years, as far as like having to, because I've noticed that, like, when I've been trying to do the business thing since 2015. I grew the following, and then we struck gold. And then it was like, okay, we finally found where we're going to put the boat in, and now we're going to push out and go into the business world. And I found that it's been very challenging dealing with employees, dealing with customers that are complete fucking pricks, and dealing with a lot of these things that I never really thought about, because it's kind of like, okay, business, yada, yada, yada. Financials, like, no. There's microscopic things that you didn't think about that you're going to be dealing with on a daily basis. Like, I think the biggest one is like just having to deal with employees that are fucking lazy, or employees that just feel very entitled, or, just a lot of different things that come with it.
Managing personalities is definitely the hardest part of business. There's no
conflict
question.
Management. Yes.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And the key to that is really just to make sure that your culture is clearly defined and what your mission is clearly defined. Mm-hmm. And as long as everybody here is on that path, their personal beliefs and what they believe are okay with me. And my door is always open. My brother's door, who is the president of the company, he's always open. It's really cool, dude. And everybody comes here. They seem really happy, at least when I'm around, and and they, I love it, dude. It's really cool. A lot of people, we've gotten to be a pretty sizable company now, and a lot of people are always like, well, when are you going to sell? When are you going to sell? Bro, why would I sell this?
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, like, this is awesome. I get to come here with my friends every day and kick ass and work out and drink fucking protein shakes, bro. It's amazing.
I think that's a matter of perspective, because I've worked with people. It's just like, you grow a company and then you sell that thing, you make millions, you retire. It's like, but retire doing what? I was like, the idea of coming into something and being in charge of it and saying, I built this, I created this empire. I'm not selling this. Like, this is my home. This is my blood.
Like, I get to see like these guys, like, and these girls who have been here for, I have guys that have been with me for 15, 16 years, bro. They're buying, $1 million houses and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, this dude, like, I got people here that started here with $7 an hour buying houses that are, like, dude, that shit is awesome. Like, why would I go away and not observe that? Like, to me, dude, the loneliest, like, here's what I'm trying to say. I like being here more than I like being at home.
Oh, somebody's sleeping on the couch tonight now.
No. Because my wife is always here too.
I know. I was about to say, because you and your wife probably make a very dynamic team.
Yeah, that's it. We work. She's here every day, all day, just with me, and we fucking we But I'm just saying, we love it.
That's incredible.
Awesome. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude. I'm so happy for your success, man. Like, it's just that's awesome. Like, you serve as a testament of what you can do when you put your mind to it, but you also maintain consistent perspective of, this shit's not going to be any easier, but I'll tell you what, it pays off way more in the end, and you're going to be 10 times more appreciative of what you've accomplished versus if that shit was just handed to you and you achieved that success overnight.
Bro, trust me, man. I'm just a fat little kid from a little gravel road in Missouri, bro. Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, this is pretty cool.
It's badass, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun, man. And so, I try to bring a little bit of that to people through the podcast, and I try to teach people how to develop businesses and be successful, while also trying to keep them educated on current events. And of course, I get my own opinion in there pretty strongly, but dude, that's what America's about, bro. So,
well, I want to take this opportunity to, number one, thank you for coming on the podcast, for dispensing a lot of the wisdom that you've done here, and then also to make the announcement that we're actually launching our own supplement company. We're calling it Second Form. And then also a coffee company we're calling Black Pistol Coffee Company.
So you mean like everybody else?
Pretty much, bro. No, that was the one thing people like, start a supplement company. It's like, nope, I'm not starting a coffee company, a clothing company, or a supplement company. And then we did CBD, so I was like, oh fuck, it's already an overset, but we've done insanely well. Like, we're very blessed. But brother,
dude, look, I love my competitors, man. I'm friends, like, the guys who run competitive companies. For the most part, I'm pretty good friends with, and there's room for everybody, bro.
Absolutely. 350 million Americans. Like, you're telling me that we can't coexist? 100%. Absolutely. My brother, I want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on here. Andy Frisella, CEO of First Form, multiple other companies that you run, multiple other things that you're doing. Got to get you back on here, but I am coming to St. Louis because I do want to take a tour of your facility. I want to see what y'all are doing over there, because I've been to other various business that are owned by friends of mine. I kind of look, it's like, okay, they're doing that. That's what we do. I know we're on the right track. Just have somebody to have a baseline off of. I was like, okay, they're doing this. So
anything I can help with, I'm always there.
Absolutely. Well, does that include sexual favors?
I don't know, Chris, does it? Depends on the day of the week.
Brother, give my love to everybody. Thanks for coming on, homie.
Thanks so much for having me on, bro, for real. I had a great time.
Me too, brother. You be safe.
All right, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Andy Frisella. I want to say thank you to him for coming on the podcast. Very motivational person, very experienced, very self-aware, insanely successful, motivating as fuck. And again, you can find this on the All American Savage Show podcast. We're going to be uploading this to Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. You can check us out. Also, this episode is brought to you by shellshockcbd.com. You can check that out. I want to say thank you for all of our customers that have supported us throughout these last 2 years that you have made Shell Shock CBD the fastest growing veteran-owned CBD company in America. Like, we are literally crushing it right now by offering great quality products at insanely affordable prices because of every single one of you motherfuckers out there that have trusted me with what I stand behind. And I definitely stand behind this company. I stand behind these products. And I promise you, you give us a chance, we're going to make you happy. Let us earn your business. And again, that is shellshockcbd.com. Code Burke will save you 10% off your order. I will see y'all tomorrow at 10 a.m. CST right here on the All American Savage Show. You stay savage.